Welcome to today's Crescent City Sports Summer League playoffs. And our first semifinal game between K's for Kids, based at Brother Martin High School, and Malcolm Dienes, based at Rummel High School. Here are our starting lineups. For K's for Kids, leading off is shortstop Camber Keller. Batting second, center fielder Brady McCluskey.
Live from John Ryan Stadium in Metairie, it's the semifinals of the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League. This afternoon, it's our first semifinal matchup as the Brother Martin-based K's for Kids squad takes on Archbishop Rummel-based Malcolm M. Dienes. And a pleasant good afternoon to you, Ken Trey, joined by the coach, Marty Luquette, as we get set for action. Two great rivals, two great programs squaring off in semifinal number one. Brother Martin-based K's for Kids, 9-1 on the year, 9-0 on the field, and 9-1 overall. And Malcolm M. Dienes, based in Archbishop Rummel, 10-1 overall. Marty, always a pleasure, and hey, it's Rummel and Brother Martin. Enough said, right?
Yeah, you know when they get together, it's always going to be a great contest. You know when they get together, it's going to be a great contest, and today will be no different. Talking with the coaches, they both have enjoyed their summer, but you know they'd like to win this championship.
Yeah, look, this is a developmental league. We talked about it many times. When you get to this stage, man, they want to win, and they want to win badly. And when you're playing a rival, even more so.
Well, they've seen everything they wanted to see, and they've achieved what they wanted to achieve out of the summer. But when you look across the field and you see the same faces year in and year out from prep season, you say, hey, I still want to win this one, and this is a big game.
It is indeed. Of course, Brother Martin in the state championship of the Select Division 1 this year in prep, lost to Catholic High. Archbishop Rummel getting to the quarterfinal round. Again, these programs are used to being in those positions under great coaches, Jeff Lupo at Brother Martin, Frank Cazzo at Archbishop Rummel. These are programs that they expect to be good. They expect to win. They expect to be playing deep into any competition that they play in.
Well, you know, and the competition is always good, and the coaching staffs are going to wash each other out. They're both great coaches. They do fabulous things with their teams, and they'll be prepared for today. And this is just one that's fun.
More information coming up, but first, the playing of our national anthem. Pass along the starting lineups. First of all, for Brother Martin-based K's for Kids, 9-1 under the direction of Jeff Lupo. Leading off at shortstop is Camber Keller. Batting second at center field, Brady McCluskey. Hitting third at third base is Bronson Lamont. Cleanup hitter and extra hitter is Colton Elliott. Batting fifth, the catcher, is Tyler Duran. Batting sixth at first base, Luke Gabb. Hitting seventh at second base, Drake Amity. Hitting eighth in right field is Luca Catanzaro. Batting ninth and playing left field, Dominic Tutton. And the pitcher is Blaze Tingstrom for K's for Kids. It's Keller, McCluskey, and Lamont, Elliott, Duran, and Gabb, Amity, Catanzaro, and Tutton with Tingstrom on the mound. For Malcolm M. Dienes, 10-1. Under the direction of Frank Cazzo, Ian Smith leads off at shortstop. Joe Stewart, the left fielder, hits second. Brody Giglio is the catcher. Bryce Engel, the cleanup hitter and right fielder. Owen Nugent at third base bats fifth. Tyler Formo, the first baseman, hitting sixth. Bo Stevens, the DH, will hit seventh. Ben Hurd at second base bats eighth. Batting ninth will be Jack Hurd and playing center field. Smith, Stewart, and Giglio. Hingle, Nugent, and Formo. Stevens, Ben Hurd, and Jack Hurd, no relation. And on the mound is the right-hander, Brennan Ramon. So Ramon taking his warm-up tosses, the senior to be for Archbishop Rummel. He's had a heck of a summer, Marty. When you look at the numbers, 4 appearances, 3 starts. He's 3-0 with an 0.40 earned run average. 17 in the third innings. He's given 3 hits. That's it. 1 run. 7 walks and 24 strikeouts in 17 in the third innings. And he has a whip of 0.57. Nothing impressive about that, right?
No, nothing at all. I mean, obviously, with those kind of numbers, you should win your games. He just takes a little bit of offense. But you don't get numbers like that if your team can't play defense. And they were able to do that. Rummel's always been very good defensively. And because of Frank Cazzo and how detailed he is and how hard they play. And I think that'll show up again today.
2 great programs, great coaches, and Rummel 5 state championships in prep over the years, 7 runner-up finishes for Rummel. Brother Martin's won a couple of state championships over the years, and the Crusaders have also been runner-ups 3 times, to give you some perspective, including this past school year. The second semifinal game to follow this one, Retief Oil based at Jesuit, River Ridge Patriots based at John Curtis Christian. Leading off is Camber Keller to get it started for K's for Kids. Keller, the right-handed hitter and shortstop, stands in. And we're ready to go with the first pitch of the game right on time at 4 o'clock. Here it is. And it's right down the middle. We're underway at 4 p.m. Keller has had a good summer. Hitting .261, a home run, 7 RBI. Here's the 0-1. Missed outside. It's a ball and a strike. Catch is set up off the outside edge. And that's where the pitch was.
Well, he's hanging all over home plate. He's got his front throw. He's got a closed stance. His left toe's on the line.
1-1 is a breaking ball high. It's 2-1. Last year's semifinals, K's for Kids beat Malcolm M. Dienes 3-1 on their way to winning the championship the next day against Pope John Paul II. So K's for Kids, the defending champion. 2-1 the count. Next pitch is on the way, and that is just missing the outside edge. Now it's 3-1.
That's a nice pitch right there. He's just off the corner. Doesn't get the call, but the location was excellent.
Ramon has to throw a strike on 3-1. He cannot, and it's a leadoff walk to Keller, and a very good start for K's for Kids. Very good hitting team. At 338 as a team on the year. You don't want to give them free base runners. Here's a terrific player, Brady McCluskey. McCluskey, a future college player, no question about that.
Yeah, we saw him a couple times in the playoffs, and he had great games. He can certainly swing the bat with the best.
353 hitter. He has 4 driven in. Open stance left side. Way outside. So Ramon, who's had good command in the summer, is struggling early with that command.
Well, that pitch, I think they went a fastball away. They elevated a little bit just in case he ran. They'd be in good position to throw it. So it was almost like a pitch out.
Want to know the count? And another one way off the mark. So what are you saying, Marty? I mean, this is a guy that's had good command, and he's missing by pretty good margins here.
Well, I think he's a little juiced right now just because of where we are and what we're doing. And he'll find it in a second. Brother Martin's not going to do any action until he proves he can throw some strikes.
2-0 the count, and a lead from first by Keller. And the pitch, and that's way outside. So he's not close with any of these pitches. And that'll prompt Giglio to the mound to talk to Ramon. I think you're right. I think he's just maybe amped up a bit, excited. I know it's a development league, but this is a playoff game.
And he's rushing a little bit. And when you rush, you end up leaving not getting fully over the front side, and you end up losing the glove hand side. But they're going to send someone to the pen, and maybe that'll send a message to him.
Yeah, and right away, Rummel will get the bullpen busy, and McCluskey likely to take a pitch here on 3-0. Way outside. So 2 batters, 2 walks, nothing good happening here for.
Yeah, 7 in 4 games, and you've walked the first 2 to start the game.
No doubt. And now 2 on, nobody out for a very good hitter in Bronson Lamont.
Lamont.
So here's Lamont, 421 with 8 RBI on the season. Grayson Schecksnyder has begun throwing in the bullpen for K's for Kids. There's no tomorrow. You've got to win, and Schecksnyder's been very prominent for them. Wind blowing out for whatever that's worth in this big ballpark. Cloudy skies. Runners lead. Stretch and the pitch, and that's high. So he's up with everything, Marty.
Yeah, and he's made no adjustments. Here comes Coach Cazzo to talk to him, and he'll talk about technique and what he's doing mechanically and what he needs to adjust.
Ramon is, of course, another legacy at Rummel. His brother Brady was a prominent player for the Raiders. And Coach Cazzo, sponsored by Malcolm M. Dienes. Conversation complete. Coach Cazzo encourages his pitcher.
Like I said, it's just a short visit, just to slow him down. Go ahead. Regroup right here.
A ball and no strikes. Runners away first and second. And Ramon delivers a strike. Well, you get a visit from the coach, and you throw a strike after the coach told him, hey, throw strikes.
You think that's it, huh? It was that easy to yell from the dugout.
1-1 the count. Open stance for Lamont. Runners with their leads. That's going to be in the left field, a base hit. Runners get around third. Stewart up with it. Throw is going to be cut off. It's 1-0. Case for Kids. On an RBI single by Bronson Lamont. So Lamont comes through. His 9th RBI of the summer ties him for the team lead.
Ball evades the shortstop, but it ends up to the left side of the left fielder, which makes it much more difficult to throw to home. And of course, Brother Martin's running on that, and they go ahead and score.
Again, you can't give a team like this free base runners and expect to escape.
Well,
Colton Elliott now looks to have a big inning. Left-handed hitting cleanup hitter. Showing bunt, taking it for a strike over the outside edge.
I think he's showing that, and that's all you're getting on that. I'd be very surprised if he bunts.
Elliott, 389, 8 RBI for the cleanup hitter. 0-1, gonna bunt, way outside and high. And again, when he's missed, it's been up and it's been well out of the zone. I mean, something isn't right mechanically to miss by this much, and to miss in a similar zone frequently, way up.
And there's 2 adjustments, which is where the problem is. It's not like he's just high over the plate, and then you make 1 adjustment. Since he's arm side high, he's got to make 2.
Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball, that is a strike at the letters, so broke that one over, even though it was up in the zone, and it's 1-2. It's interesting that this Rummel team from Malcolm M. Dienes, they're the only team in this league to have made the playoffs all 4 years in this league, but they've yet to win a playoff game. They've lost in the semifinals each of the first 3 seasons. On 1-2. Breaking ball hammered down the right field line. That's going to get down for a hit. 1 run's going to score. Or are they going to score him? No, they're going to stop him at third, and I don't know what his read was there, but that's just not a good read. That ball was going to be down the whole way.
Well, he went back to tag is what he did, thinking he was going to catch that ball.
Right.
Well, from our angle, it was easy to see he was not, but it was tough for him, so he only gets to move up to 90 feet and doesn't score on that, but we still have bases loaded with 1 out.
Yeah,
no outs.
Nobody out. Chance for a huge inning to break this open early. And I know that's an early comment, but it's possible here with this situation. Here's Tyler Duran, the catcher. 353, 9 RBI for Tyler. Infield will stay back to try to stay out of the big inning. 2 walks, 2 straight singles, and now another good hitter in Duran. And again, missing high. That has been it continuously.
When the only pitch he's been able to throw for a strike has been that breaking ball, because he has to slow his body down and shortens his stride right there and get on top of it. He needs to do the same thing on his fastball.
One-0. There's a good breaking ball, and that's to your point. He's been able to bend that one to the plate area, and it's 1-1. That's it, though.
Well, he's overstriding on the fastball. That's what's making it high, and he's losing that arm side, which means his rotation's not right.
1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. It's 1-2 on Duran.
That was the best fastball he's thrown through that one. Had a little giddy up on it, top of the zone. He needs a strikeout badly.
Very badly. Duran's set to go into his junior season. 1-2 the count. Shoots that one into the parking lot over the first base dugout. Occupied by Malcolm M. Dienes. And the count remains 1-2 on Tyler Duran. Brother Martin in there. Old gold tops. Crimson numerals. White pants. Two-tone caps.
I think he's going to get at least one breaking ball right here. He might get 2 in a row.
Yep, got one that's out of the zone, down and away. So now it's equal at 2-2, and this becomes the money pitch, the decision pitch. He does not want to go full here.
Well, I think you're going to see another breaking ball. This one he's going to try to throw for a strike. The last one to see if he'd chase.
2 balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded, nobody out. Breaking ball foul back. So he spoiled a couple of good pitches with 2 strikes. That's what good hitters do.
That one was an excellent pitch right there. He got it down and away. He still had it in the zone. And he forced the hitter to go get it, and he was able to go get a piece of it.
Still 2-2. And now 3-2. So this becomes a huge pitch. I know it's the top of the first inning, but this is a chance for a huge inning. And they've got Blaze Tingstrom ready to go, who's an outstanding pitcher.
Well, we always talk
for kids.
We always talk about crooked innings, and you're trying to stay away. That's all you do defensively is try to stay away from crooked innings. And Brother Martin has a great chance right here to put one up.
With the bases loaded on 3-2, it's ball 4, and he hit him anyway, so it's 2-0. And Frank Cazzo can't wait any longer. He has got to make a change.
5 batters, doesn't get any outs.
I mean, he's had a great summer, but just didn't have anything today. And they're going to have to go to a different pitcher in the first inning with nobody out. Who would have thought that? But that's the way it goes. RBI for Duran to make it 2-0. And we're going to get the big, talented young man coming in who is a sophomore to be in Grayson Schexnayder. So, not Ramon's day in any way, shape, or form as he departs, having walked 2, hit a batter, and given up 2 hits and 2 runs to this point. You talk about inheriting a pickle. Doesn't get much harder than this. And the young, talented sophomore Grayson Schexnayder, all 6'4" of him.
Well, he's big, and he's popping the glove right now. Well, he can throw strikes. That's
a young man that's got quite a future. He's mid-80s already. He's going into his sophomore year, and he's 6'4". That's a pretty good combination, isn't it?
It is. Right now, Ramon probably doesn't want to hear about it, but the fact that he came out in the first inning, with about 18 pitches, I would guess. I'm not sure, but if they were able to come back and get this game, he'd probably be available for tomorrow for the championship game.
24 pitches, to be precise.
That's not even a bullpen.
No. Well, Schexnayder will feature a breaking ball to go along with his fastball. Stands tall, and you always talk about projections, Marty, and when you're seeing a young man that's 14 going on 15 years old, I'm just looking at the gun down there. I've seen 85 and 84 the last 2, and you're going into your sophomore year. There's something that you project moving forward that looks pretty good.
Well, you can't buy 6'4". Now, to start with, those long arms and long legs are great levers. So you can't make those up. And he's got a live arm right now, and the progressions will be 2-3 miles an hour per year is usually how it works. It did for all the great pitchers I had in the past. It's just in progress, in maturity, they gain 2 or 3. So if he's able to do that, he'll be a 90-mile-an-hour thrower by the time he's a senior.
Here's Luke Gabb, 211, no homers, 5 RBI, bases loaded, nobody out. Gabb takes it, and that's a popping strike. It's 0-1. Well, that's what Rummel couldn't do, and is get ahead of a hitter. And he changes the whole at bat.
And he nailed that outside corner right there. That was a nice pitch.
Working from the stretch, Schexnayder to the plate, and just a little bit further outside. It's 1-1. Trying to keep the ball away. Big ballpark. Wind is blowing out, though, and it's blowing out at about 10 miles an hour, which is pretty interesting. Ball's going to carry a little better than normal in this cavernous yard. Swing and a miss. Good popping fastball there. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he's just playing old-fashioned country hardball right now. He's just rearing back and letting it go. Here it is. See if you can hit it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Case for Kids with 2 up on the board. Looking for more now. Here it is. And outside. Catcher set up away. He hit the glove, but he's off the plate. And it's 2-2. And fans always want to know, well, why do you set up off the plate?
Well, you're setting up this next inside fastball is what I'd be doing. But you're just trying to see if he'll chase it. Maybe the hitter will go outside the zone.
Staying away, and he got him. Great pitch there, no doubt. 1 out. Perfect pitch by Schexnayder. That's a big strikeout. And now you get Drake Amity, the second baseman, to the plate.
Second baseman, Drake Amity.
There's Amity. Hitting .333 with no homers and 2 driven in on the season. Stretch pitch. That's a fastball strike called. It's 0-1. Schexnayder continues to work the fastball in good fashion here. It's no balls and a strike. Swinging a foul. It's 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes on Amity, with the bases loaded, 1 out now. Got the 1 strikeout, Marty. He could sure use another here.
And he's really painted the corner on the lefty. Now he's got a chance to show us his breaking ball. We haven't seen it yet.
Schexnayder brings it, and he didn't get the call. Pretty good looking pitch. Just off the outside edge, and it's 1-2. We've seen that pitch call, Marty.
That's a gutsy take right there for 0-2. I bet he's going to get it again.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and another breaking ball, and this is, he got the call. If that should have been strike 3. He's out. I mean, the hitter's still up there, but he's gone. I got to tell you, I thought the previous pitch was better than that one, in my opinion.
Well,
but either way,
the breaking ball is part of why he got that call right there.
He wasn't looking for it.
No.
So 2 outs. Boy, if Schexnayder could get out of this. Wow, Luca Catanzaro, the right fielder, has other thoughts. 154, 2 RBI for Luca. Right-handed swinger. And he fouls the first pitch. Well, Schexnayder's doing exactly what Rummel couldn't do, which is throwing strikes. He's gotten ahead of basically every hitter, Marty.
He has. All 3 guys he's faced, he's got ahead of. And he's just putting pressure on the hitter to go ahead and do something. Where in the first guys, they were able to get ahead in the count and pick out something.
No balls and a strike from the stretch, Schexnayder. Oh, good pitch. Fast strike. It's 0-2. Oh, you get the picture already, Marty, why he's so well thought of.
Yeah.
Coming out of his freshman year at 6'4",
Coach Lupo's like, what are you waiting on? He's down there going crazy.
Swing the bat, right?
Yeah, he takes a fastball inside half.
1-2 the count. Schexnayder ready and brings it in. Chopper off the body into fair territory. Keeps him at the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Again, in case you missed it, Ramon started, walked the first 2, gave up 2 straight hits, hit a batter to plate a run, and was out of the game. And Schexnayder came into a complete and total mess and has a chance to get out of it with minimal damage, but not out yet. That pitch was off the plate. That's the right call. Good pitch, though, on 0-2, to say the least.
He's got a chance to get out with minimal damage. He's got a chance to strike out the side right here. He almost got that call right there.
Catcher tried to sell it, Giglio.
Oh, the whole team tried to sell it right there. They ran off the field.
On 1-2, here it is.
There it
and
is.
He got the call here.
There it is.
Great job by Giglio to frame it. What a job by Grayson Schexnayder. Comes into a bases-loaded, no-out situation, and he strikes out the side looking no less. And, Marty, you said it. If he throws the breaking ball effectively, I mean, you don't have much of a chance unless you're really good.
And the way, because his fastball is real good right now, and he's spotting it so well that he throws that breaking ball right off that spot, and it's difficult to hit. And these guys don't have it's not like they have a lot of varsity experience. Both teams graduated 15 guys, and a lot of them did most of the play, and so they're still getting their taste of good pitching, and they're going to get their share tonight from Grayson Schexnayder.
So 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 3 big ones left on base. Close the book on Ramon. No innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks. A hit batter, could lose, cannot win. And now the Crusader team from Case for Kids goes to the field with Taunton left, McCluskey center, Catanzaro right. It's Lamont at third, Keller at short, Hamady second, Gabb at first. Duran does the catching. And on the mound, the right-hander Blaze Tingstrom, the centenary commit who was so good in prep this year. And Tingstrom, it's always nice when you go to the mound with a lead and you haven't thrown a pitch yet. And Tingstrom doesn't need much with the way he's pitched all during the prep season. In the summer, 2 appearances and a 1.24 earned run average. 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run earned. He's walked 3, struck out 3. He's hit a batter, an 0.88 whip for Tingstrom, who was just outstanding for Brother Martin. Really a big factor in them reaching the state championship series in Select Division 1.
Yeah, Coach Lupo said down the stretch he might have been as good as anybody that he coached, pitching for him and handling guys in the run to get to see Catholic in Sulphur. So, he's got some experience, and that's they're inexperienced around him, but he's very experienced.
Shortstop, Ian Smith.
Most talented player on the Rummel squad from Malcolm M. Dienes, Ian Smith, who's a big-time prospect, shortstop going into his junior year. 440 summer with a homer, 6 driven in. And he takes it down and out for ball 1.
According to Coach Cazzo, he's the only starter from the prep season that he has.
That is indeed a fact. There's the 1-0 pitch. Down and out, 2-0, which speaks volumes because Rummel had a good prep team this year, graduated a whole bunch of guys that are going to the next level.
And he really likes this kid. He thinks that he's certainly a big-time prospect.
He is, and you just saw why. Line drive, base hit to center field. He's got a very short, quick swing, Marty. Mm-hmm. His game plays. He can catch, he can throw. I mean, it's pretty special. They went from Mikey Ryan, who's now at NC State at shortstop, to Ian Smith, who's going to play at the Division I level, I can assure you. Pretty special.
All right, state schools, let's keep him home.
There you go, Joe Stewart. 222 average, 2 driven in. Bring in the third member of our broadcast team here next. Stewart squaring the bunt early. And a strike over the outside edge. Good pitch. Well, the old axiom is if you're going to bunt a strike. Didn't do it. 0-1. Takes a look down at Frank Cazzo. He's like flashing a whole bunch of signs. And the last one was, bunt it.
Yeah, fair.
Let bat meet ball. Show it early. Take it away. Now that's a good take, and it's 1-1. Lenny Van Gilder, CrescentCitySports.com, joining us now, having solved the problems of the world with air conditioning, and it's great to have you with us, Lenny.
Good to be here. Good to see some baseball.
Yeah.
Best of the best after 5 weeks, and here we are. We'll crown a champion by tomorrow night.
Down and out, 2-1. You know the history, and we've documented it, but first 2 teams to win our league won state championships the next year. The third team to win our league went to a state championship the following year.
And look, you said it early in the broadcast. This is developmental. We are developing for next year.
Swinging a foul tip, it's 2-2.
And look, by the time tomorrow night ends, it's going to be 7 months before they play another game for real. But still, we've seen it time and time again, the carryover from what happens over the course of this summer to the following spring.
Shade Stewart here the other way. The bunt's obviously off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Smith a pretty good lead at first. And there he goes. and it's down and out. The throw down is not in time. Close play, but he's safe. Quick release by Durand, and very accurate, one hop, but on the turf, that's a good thing. Second baseman, clean field, good tag, but Smith just beat it, Marty.
When on the pitch, I thought he was going to be safe easy, and the catcher had a great release. Ball was down, so the tag was made. It was bang, bang. Could have went the other way. It was that close.
Sixth steal of the summer for Smith. Now 3-2 to Stewart. And he struck him out swinging, just threw the fastball by him. So Tingstrom overpowers Stewart, and now catcher Brody Giglio to the plate. Well, this is a good hitting team as well. Malcolm Dienes' team hitting .306 for the summer.
Catcher.
Yeah, Kenny, I just want to add on to what Lenny was saying. They don't play again for 7 months, but everything's been put in now. Having a summer like this together, they start to get some answers. You have some ideas what you want to do. Now they got 7 months to grow and get stronger, and that's the key to who gets bigger and stronger faster next year.
Giglio takes it, just missing. Well, Giglio would have started for most teams, but he's behind Lenny Klein, who was really good. Might have been the best player on the Rummel team, who's heading to Delgado. Waited his turn, and now he gets the opportunity. Hits out of a crouch from the right side. Threw the fastball by him. So you're seeing power, Lenny. You saw Scheckschneider overpower hitters when he came in, and Tingstrom doing a little bit of the same right now.
Well, and you saw he could throw the breaking ball, and that makes the fastball look that much better as well. So, two outstanding pitchers out there right now.
Late on that fastball, and it's 1-2. So if you see a hitter a little late, Marty, why go to anything else?
Well, you can go up. You raise it a little bit to see what he'll chase.
It's staying with the fastball.
Yeah, you don't want to speed up his bat by throwing him something off speed once you know you can blow him away, but you will change the location a little bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes, runner second, 1 out. 2-0 case for Kids, bottom of the first. Nice block by Durand.
He did what I thought he possibly would do. We've stayed away, and he came back inside right there, tried to bust him on the hands and see if he can get that fastball by him.
2-2.
They'll probably go back away.
Down and out, so 3-2. So he had a deep count to Stewart, got him, and now Giglio with a deep count as well at 3-2.
But he's pitching right now. He's getting deep counts because of where he's locating. And he's throwing it to where he wants it.
Towards short, 1 hop, look the runner back, and make a strong throw for the out. Keller takes care of Giglio, and that's out number 2. And now Bryce Hingle will try to produce some 2-out magic.
As an experienced pitcher, he's not worried about 3-2 counts. That doesn't bother him at all.
Bryce Hingle.
His numbers don't show base on balls as a problem, so he's just out there dealing.
Here's Hingle. 269, a homer, 5 driven in for Bryce on the summer. Down and out. Hingle going into his junior season. Again, a lot of these players are finally getting their chances. Rummel had a core group for 3 years that was really talented, and they're all over the place playing somewhere at the next level now, or will be. 1-0, high and away, 2-0. They were state finalists a couple of years ago with guys like Giancarlo Arancibia and Brady Schmidt and Brock Bollinger and Rhett Centani and Mikey Ryan, and then semifinalists, and Lenny did an extra inning semifinal game in Sulphur with an extremely talented Rummel team, and then this past year got knocked out in the regional round. Strike call, 2-1. They had players, Lenny, like Evan Berg, Tulane, Gavin Nix, LSU Eunice, Gavin Kennedy, Lenny Klein, Aiden Gennard, Delgado. I mentioned the other guys before them. That's a whole bunch of guys playing at the next level.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And obviously you got to replace that. So you got to start somewhere, and this is part of where it starts.
Runner goes, and a check swing fall, and Smith had a heck of a jump.
Well,
kind of a bad break there for Smith.
The names you're mentioning and replacing those guys, but that's what a program does. When you have a 5A program, you're able to reach back. And like Coach Lupo said earlier, and when he was talking about his team, he said, I only have, one guy that played a lot. He said, but we have juniors now that have been waited their turn. They're good players. They just had to wait, and now it's their opportunity, and now they have to perform.
Yeah, we'll say the same thing about the Brother Martin team when they come back to bat about the players they've lost. But again, depth in the program. That's why these teams are playing in this game right now.
It's why they're there every year, in and out. They reload. You got to do the work at the lower levels to reap the benefits at the top level. And
2-2.
And they do a good job with their freshmen and JV teams.
That's way high, and a good job by Duran. I mean, he's blocked the ball, and that time he had to show his vertical jump to save that one, and it's 3-2.
He's lucky that was a breaking ball, or
no doubt.
It might have ended up halfway up here.
And come out of his crouch like that. It's not easy to do. It's not a whole lot of fun either. 3-2 the count. Payoff. And a good job of reaching out and poking that one foul. May or may not have been a strike, but that's good hitting by Hingle to protect.
Yeah, Hingle just spoils that. That's all he was intending to do. He didn't have any intent of putting that on the field. I like it when hitters do that. I used to tell them that it's not a pitch the umpire can call. You can't hit in the dugout.
Runner goes, pop foul back. So Smith's getting a workout on the bases. He'll retreat to second, and this is pretty good battle here. This will be pitch number 8 in this showdown between Tingstrom and Hingle. One thing that the Malcolm Dienes team is doing is they're making Tingstrom work. He's throwing quite a few pitches here,
he has,
despite only facing 4 hitters. And he got him a pop-up, which will end the inning. Who wants it? Center fielder, right fielder, center fielder. McCluskey for the catch, and Tingstrom keeps pumping strikes and finally gets his man. Leadoff single goes to waste. No runs in a hit. 1 left after 1. A 2-0 lead for Kids over Malcolm M. Dienes. Lights are on here at John Ryan Stadium. It's the first game of 2 semifinal games. To follow this one, we'll have Jesuit-based Retief Oil, John Curtis Christian-based River Ridge, the Patriots. And look forward to that one. Championship game tomorrow at 6 p.m. Year 4.
Year 4.
And we'll get Lenny to give you a little bit of a history of this thing and what we've done for 3 years and how people have fared over the period of time there for what's transpired in the league. Lenny, it's been a mixed bag. We mentioned the only team to make the playoffs all 4 years is this Rummel team, which has not won a playoff game.
Right, but here's the thing. You talk about the 4 teams that we've got here. They've all been in the playoffs. It's the first time we've experienced that, where we've got teams that have all made the playoffs in the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League in one of the previous seasons, coming back this year. Of course, you mentioned K's for Kids winning a championship a year ago. Retief Oil in our second game was our original champion in 2022. And of course you mentioned Malcolm M. Dienes all 3 years, but they've lost in the semifinals all 3 years. Meanwhile, River Ridge Patriots made the playoffs the first 2 years, won semifinal games, got beat in the championship game. So you've had 12 appearances out of 4 teams times 3 years, and these 4 franchises, if you will, have accounted for 8 of those 12 appearances.
I want to make a note about the other team that won a championship too and why this league is worthwhile in a moment. Here's Dominic Todd in the bat. He takes a strike from Schexnayder, outside edge. Schexnayder threw 14 pitches, 10 strikes, and struck out the side after he came in the first inning. Dominic Todd, left-handed hitter. 545 for the summer, 2 RBIs. He bunts. Schexnayder fields his position well and throws him. Oh, he's safe at first.
Pulled it off the bag.
The first baseman was off the bag. Frank Cazzo is going to argue this. I don't know about that, if we can see that again. And he wants the home plate umpire to come see it. I did not see whether he came off the bag. Didn't appear to, at least at first glance, but again, we'd have to see it again.
Well, now, could he possibly be asking, and then, again, we'll get a look at it perhaps, was the runner inside the running lane there, or not in the running lane, but inside the first base foul line, and caused the throw to be wide perhaps, but the umpires talk about it, and it's going to remain safe.
Well, the other thing
we don't have instant replay like college baseball. It's just we're not that far along yet. So.
The other thing about that, Marty, was he didn't throw his fastball to first base. I mean, he was accurate, but he really didn't throw it hard, did he?
I didn't think he pulled him off. The throw wasn't
I didn't
that
either.
bad.
I didn't think he did either. And the signal was he was off the bag, not that the throw was late. Swing and a miss here. It's 0-1.
The batter is shortstop.
So do you give him a hit there or an error? I mean, I think you have to. If you're saying he pulled him off the bench, that's an error.
That's an error. That was an easy throw. He almost, in my mind, like took something off of it.
Yeah.
Look. Yeah. Marty, you know about PFP, pitchers fielding practice. They do it all the time, but it's a hard thing to do.
There's another bunt. Scheck-Snyder bobbles, can't recover, so they found something with the bunt game. Twice in a row. That's going to go as an error as well. It's a sacrifice and an error, and it's 2 on, nobody out. Here comes Case for Kids again. And they used the bunt game.
Well, he peeked up right there to try to see where the runner was. I think he wanted to tag him. Then he ends up dropping the ball. Nothing will frustrate a coach quicker than the pitcher not being able to field his position, which is why we spend so much time on pitcher fielding drills.
Well, you got a big kid coming off his freshman year, 6'4", and they're testing him.
They're going to do him again.
I'd bunt again here.
They're going to do it.
McCluskey's not bunting. Runner breaks for third. They're going to throw him out for sure. That's so easy at third base. Giglio. I wonder if somebody missed a sign. I think so, because Jeff Lupo's not happy. I mean,
what's the old saying? You don't make the first out of the inning at third base, or the third out.
Well, and you don't steal third with the lefty.
And the back end runner didn't run, so that's a sure sign somebody missed a sign.
And you don't usually steal third with a lefty because he has no one to throw around. He just shoots it down there.
Exactly.
That's a big play. Runner first, 1 out now, 0-1 to McCluskey, and he took it away. McCluskey's their most experienced, most talented player.
Which is why he wasn't bunting. Otherwise,
no, exactly. He's got one heck of a future. So much to like about this young man's game, having watched him for 2 years. I mean, he played as a freshman for a big-time program at Brother Martin. 1-1. Swinging a foul off the catcher's mitt. It's 1-2. Scheck-Snyder's got enough juice to be able to get the ball by good hitters.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't McCluskey hit in the 3-hole for them during the prep season?
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Well, I did a lot of games, so I can answer that question for you quite a bit. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
He did. Right behind Ryan Dara and Stan Wiltz. Wiltz at UNO, Dara at Arizona State. And Cole Navarro hit beyond him, who's at UNO too.
But a 3-hole as a freshman, that's impressive.
Yep. Pitch away to McCluskey. And now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brady.
See, now you can be careful with him. If you lose him, you just back where you were. Where before you were going to have to challenge him.
Going into his junior year at Brother Martin, McCluskey waits, 2-2 the count. Scheck-Snyder delivers. Breaking ball, what a pitch. Well, you said it, Marty, in the first inning. If he can land the breaking ball, he's going to be nails, and he's been nails. That's 4 strikeouts, all looking.
Yeah, that's the key right there.
Third baseman.
They're not swinging and missing. They're taking it. And he's got enough juice to make him swing and miss, too, but he's getting them out with the breaking ball, and they're struggling with recognizing it.
Here's Lamont, singled his first trip, up and in, ball 1. You can hear the pop. And as we saw the gun below us a little earlier, he was low in 84, high in 87, and he's coming off his freshman year, and he's 6'4". There's something to like there. That's a good fastball for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, wait till he's 6'6".
Well, I mean, they had a kid named Mitch Seawald who pitched a game here at the stadium.
Oh my goodness!
He was
that you weren't at.
I wasn't. He was 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", right?
Big guy.
1-1. Missing away, it's 2-1. Yeah, somehow I had to remind you of that game.
First year of this ballpark back in 2012, we will never have another night like that.
6 hours and
it wasn't that long. I mean, it was about a 4.5-hour game, but the innings just 18 innings. It was only 2-1. You know.
Yep,
that's a fun game though.
2-1. Breaking ball missed inside, delayed steal, and a good one at that. And what a tag! Wow. What a tag by Ian Smith. First of all, good job by Giglio to dig it out, but that's a talented play by a talented shortstop, Marty. That's a heck of a job.
That's nice. And the catcher left it to the first base side, which is what they're teaching now. And give yourself a chance, leave it on that side, and a great pick and tag right there.
So, Brother Martin has 2 runners thrown out stealing in the inning, which circumvents that innings. No run and no hits, 2 errors, and nobody left on base. So we go to the bottom of the second, and it is a 2-0 lead for K's for Kid. And today's coverage of the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the #1 Ford dealer in the Metro New Orleans market, must be a reason. We're here for a reason, to decide who's going to play in a championship game tomorrow night.
You know, just now, Schexnayder coming off the field after mishandling those 2 bunts. Coach Cazzo made sure he understood those were not, what he was doing was not acceptable. The first one, he just kind of goosed the throw over there, and the second one, you know, he wanted to tag him and dropped it. But you have got to get an out on the second one. You have got to get an out on every play, and that's what he's fussing about. You wanted to make a great play, you got to make the regular play.
You got to be able to field your position. There's no doubt about it. Because guess what? They're going to give you every opportunity to do it if you don't.
Well, yeah. Once you show him, once you showed him, you can bet they're going to see some more bunts before this is over.
But what's interesting? Hadn't been a ball play on a swing yet. 2 innings. Two bunts. That was it. You've got 4 strikeouts and 2 guys thrown out stealing. Yeah.
Brother Martin had 2 hits in the first.
Yeah,
Right,
but
since he came in the game.
Schexnayder came in.
Yeah,
Right.
No, you're absolutely right.
Owen Nugent leads it off. Nugent, big swing, foul back. Nugent, 393. He has a home run. He's got 15 RBI in the summer. And, of course, quite a legacy at Rummel. His father, Timmy Nugent, was some pitcher.
I was going to say, I recognize that name.
Timmy here watching. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Owen chops one over the mound. Tough play. Field it, throw it, got him. 1 out. Good job by Amity. Not great speed. Somebody with speed probably beats that, but a good job by Amity to get the out.
Amity charged it hard. That's why he was able to make that play. But even handling it, he had a little trouble getting it out of his glove. But
First baseman,
he made a real nice throw once he got hold of it.
Speaking of legacies, here's Tyler Formo. Left-handed hitter, 400 in the summer with 5 driven in. Tyler takes a strike of the knees. Good pitch from Tingstrom, his 26th pitch of the game. He had 23 in the first.
This makes me feel a little bit younger. I mean, I remember watching Timmy pitch at LSU in 2001. Okay, now, you know, Tyler's dad, Glenn's older than me, so it makes me feel younger. I like that, you know.
Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Tingstrom. It's 1-2 on Tyler.
It makes for a heck of a father-son game,
Yeah.
though.
It does?
Yeah, I bet it would be.
Yeah. Oh, man. I take Glenn, you know, we
Chopper slowly, first base side. Tingstrom, easy chance, 2 outs.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, you were mentioning that state finalist team. Of course, that was Rummel Jesuit in the finals, and went back and had a chance to do a story on those former Rummel Jesuit state championship games. Glenn got a chance to play in one of those back in 1980, which I contend to this day may have been the most talent that we have seen on a high school baseball field at one time in Louisiana.
Fast strike, it's 0-1.
Between the two teams?
Between the two teams.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Between those two teams.
0-1 pitch. That's down for a ball. It's 1-1.
Of course, Joe Brockhoff just passed away 4 weeks ago today, and I think he got half the players that were on the field for that game. He had a lot of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And missed the outside edge. It's 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, Dale Stokes was really good. Jesuit had 4 pitchers who one was as good as the other. Could name them all. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's high strike called. It's 2-2.
I still kid Brian Shearman to this day. The 7th inning of that game, after he got the lead and went back out of the 7th, is the hardest he threw in his entire life, including 4 years at Tulane.
Bo Stevens, a batter. Now keep an eye on this young guy. He's an 8th grader this past year. He's going to start as a freshman on varsity. He's got one whale of a future. Again, remember this name, Bo Stevens. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tingstrom taking a lot of time. Stevens staying in the box should call time. He's not doing it.
Now he does.
Finally does. Yeah, look, you're freezing the hitter. You got to call time there. College level, pro level, that wouldn't happen. You'd get a pitch violation.
Well, yeah, exactly. The clock would have run out by now.
2-2. And he struck him out. What a beautiful breaking ball. Tingstrom sets him down 1-2-3. After fighting through the first inning, he's sharp as tacks in the second, and we get nothing across from Malcolm M. Dienes, and we go to the third of a 2-0 lead for Case for Kids.
You know, it's interesting. You were talking about the first 3 years, Ken. You go back and look at these games. I mean, other than, 2 or 3 games, we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games decided by 1 run, 1 game decided by 2 runs, and we've had really high-quality competition when we've gotten to this point. It's, you don't see a lot of blowouts, and that's good to see. I mean, you saw, K's for Kids get the first 5 men on base in the first inning. You think, oh, wait a minute here, what's coming? I'm starting to think, okay, yeah, we're in the playoffs, but you still have to play 10-run rule at this point. But certainly, Schexnayder stemmed the tide here, and we're settling in for a well-pitched one here the rest of the way.
Well, I saw him in the prep season, and I walked away and said, yeah, wow. And then I don't care what he does the rest of this game, guys. I've seen enough. Unless something goes wrong, that guy's going to pitch at the next level somewhere in Division I. And I'm saying that despite the fact that he's as young as he is going into his sophomore year.
Well, now here's the interesting thing. If this was before 2025, be getting offers right now. Now remember, the rules are changing here as Lamont steps in.
And he shoots one pretty high and deep to center. Long run hurt. He's not going to get there. That ball's going to the wall. On his way to second. He's going to round second. He's going to head for third. He's going to have a triple sliding into third base. Bronson Lamont, first pitch swinging. He hits that ball about 385 feet, Marty.
Yeah, I'd say he got a pitch he was looking for, a high fastball, and he destroyed that. There's not many parks that's going to stay in. You know how they
John Ryan in Yellowstone, maybe that's
and maybe Rooney.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe. Yes.
Well, but even so, the wind's blowing out here. Of course, in the summertime at Kirsch Rooney, the wind's blowing in. So
Colton Elliott with a chance to add to the lead. Singled his first time. Infield has to come in. Away for ball 1. Well, that was the first pitch fastball, and he was waiting for it. And he ambushed it.
We're going to see how this young pitcher is going to handle giving up that big hit right there. Does he just recover and come right back, keep throwing strikes?
First hit he's yielded, and it's 2-0. No, he's been sharp up until now. Those pitches weren't close. 2 balls, no strikes.
That's what you're always afraid of as a coach. When they bust that bubble he's got, how does he handle it?
And a base hit to center makes it a 3-0 ball game. Elliott hammers one. He's 2 for 2, and K's for Kids is rolling. Trying to be a repeat champion here. They knocked out Malcolm Dienes in the semis a year ago, 3-1. As we played over at Winterscheid Stadium, back at John Ryan Stadium this year. And here's Tyler Durand hit by a pitch to plate a run his first time. And with Tingstrom on the mound, a 3-run lead looks big.
Well, anytime you can tack on, it's going to make it look even bigger.
Nice bunt. Going to make Schexnayder field his position. Bobbles again and just threw him out. So that's one thing the big man, who's very young, is going to have to work on.
No question there. You saw the hesitation there as well. It's but still got the out. What you need to do.
Well, Brother Martin is not only a really good team, but really good fundamentally. They can bunt the baseball. I know this much. If a guy like Glenn Shakini saw this, he'd be bunting 40 times in a game.
Oh, yes. When we played him, we used to tell the infielders, if you don't make it look good, you're in for a long day.
Here's Luke Gabb. Liner in the left field. Stewart should get there. He does to make the catch. Some well-struck balls, though, here in the third inning, and that's the second out. And now Drake Amity will bat. Amity struck out looking back in the first inning.
He got a good jump on that ball, but look how he's standing. He plays over very far over to the left, to the foul side. Very unusual setup. You can see the gap they leave in left center.
Well, it's a triples ballpark. I mean, it's a big ballpark. Balls get down, and you're going to be in big trouble with the gaps here and down the line. So here's Amity, who struck out looking his first time. That's high, ball 1. Second time around, Marty, you've seen perhaps some adjustments here, right?
Well, the top of their order swung the bat well through the first part. Those are the experienced guys. You know, it's what's going to happen between 5 and 9 that's going to make whether this becomes the score changes much.
Missed inside, it's 2-0. So not as sharp this inning as Schexnayder.
But you can see they're playing this batter to hit the right center, but the left fielder never came over with him.
That's a base hit to right. Runner's going to round third. They're going to send him, and he's going to be able to make it safely. And a runner to second. Good base running. RBI single Amity. 4-0 K's for Kids. 3 hits in the inning, and they've certainly solved Schexnayder second time around.
They have, and they're getting the fastball they're looking for, and they're now not missing it like they did in the first inning. But we haven't seen many breaking balls either. He hasn't changed speeds at all to try to keep him tight.
Bullpen gets busy for the Rummel squad once again.
Right fielder,
Luca Catanzaro bats. He struck out looking his first time. There's Catanzaro. Brody Bertucci throws in the bullpen for Malcolm Dienes. Pitch down for a ball, 1-0 to Catanzaro. Straight away defensively. Malcolm Dienes. As a ball hit to first, easy chance Formo makes the play on assisted, inning over, but good inning, 2 runs score on 3 hits, no errors, and a runner stranded. That's 4 left on base, and we go to the bottom of the third, and Case for Kids has opened up a 4-0 lead over Malcolm M. Dienes. And today's coverage of the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League is brought to you by Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute. Don't let a sports injury keep you sidelined. Our team offers health care for athletes with same-day appointments available near you. Visit oxnard.org/sportsmed to learn more. Blaze Tingstrom back to the mound. 35 pitches, 2 strikeouts, and 2 innings. He's now set down 6 in a row after giving up a leadoff single to Smith. And he's now got a 4-run cushion to work with, which is more than what he's needed pretty much all year. So that's going to be a big uphill climb for Malcolm M. Dienes. And the other thing about that is in this ballpark, you have to hit your way to score unless you're going to walk people, because it's a big ballpark. And pitchers that throw strikes typically have success here. Here's Ben Hurd to get it started for Malcolm M. Dienes in the 3rd inning.
Well, you know, Brother Martin last inning off Schexnayder, once they got the big triple, they shortened their stride, they shortened their swings, and they hit the ball through the right side. You know, they bunted them. They got the single, bunted, and then they hit 2 singles to right field. So, you know, they're swinging the bats. They got 5 hits, and hey, right now their 4-run lead looks huge.
In this ballpark especially, it makes it. I mean, there's no bloop and a blast necessarily coming here, right?
Right. And
Ben Hurd takes it over but high.
the only thing that possibly could hurt him is his pitch count's probably a little bit high.
It's 35 through 2 innings, not bad.
That's not bad.
And look, you're not throwing a lot of guys a lot of pitches at this point in the year either.
Right.
Popping strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Bertucci sits down in the Malcolm Dienes bullpen. Hurd, a right-handed hitter. And he's late on the fastball. Tingstrom simply threw it by him up in the zone. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hurd going into his senior season. 1-2 pitch. Pops out of the glove a bit high, and it's 2-2. Talked about all the Rummel players over the last few years that have moved on. Of course, your brother Martin, Ryan Dara, Arizona State, Stan Welch, UNO, Cole Navarro, UNO, Jude Tingstrom, the brother of Blaze Delgado, Egan Prather, Loyola, Cody Kropp, Shelton State. That's all off of this past year's team. Might explain why they got to the championship series. Pitch missing away, so now 3-2.
When we saw them, they played a very good Holy Cross team and handled them easily.
Ball 4, so the first walk issued by Tingstrom. A leadoff walk, the kind you don't like as a coach when you're up by 4.
Well, after getting runs on the board the previous inning, right?
Center fielder, Jack
you want that
Hurd.
shutdown inning, and the one thing you don't want to do is have a leadoff walk.
Here's Jack Hurd, no relation to Ben Hurd, spelled differently. Senior to be, took a ball. It's 1-0, and the catcher wants to have a word. Duran's going to go out there and say, hey, either I saw this or, hey, buddy, we're up 4. Just stay calm, throw a strike. We'll be fine.
Well, and what they've done here by adding the other 2 runs is they've pretty much taken they take the coach Cazzo out the game as far as some of the things he can do. In the first inning, when it was 2-0, he was still he was bunting and trying to move guys over. He won't do that at 4-0.
1-0 pitch. That's up, and it's 2-0. And if you're Jack Hurd, you're taking.
Definitely. We need some base runners.
Taking indeed, and it's 2-1.
You and I think were in that conversation about the old Skeeter Thayard offense at over the weekend. We'll got to talk about that a little bit. But I mean, you remember, if you remember, Skeeter used to run the 43 offense at times. Ken, you want to take 4 balls before you take 3 strikes.
I watched it a lot.
Yep.
And you see kids.
That was my era, so not yours. I was a little bit before you. 3-1 the count. I watched his teams. They were a pain in the rear end of the play against Balfour.
No doubt.
So back-to-back walks issue gives Malcolm Dienes a chance, especially since you've turned the lineup over and you get the best hitter up, and Ian Smith and Jeff Lupo's going to go to the mound. He doesn't look real thrilled right now.
Yeah, no, exactly. Get this under control. Look, while we've got a second, we've got all 3 of us spent a fabulous weekend in Natchitoches, and let's congratulate a couple of Rummel graduates. Your great friend, the late Ed Daniels, and Glenn Gilbo, both receiving the Distinguished Service Award in Sports Journalism, along with Joe Sherman, who played for Skeeter back in the day before, of course, he's become the winningest coach in Louisiana College baseball, and so many other friends up there. And it was a terrific weekend to take it all in. And I tell you what, Nick Saban had some scheduling issues and didn't get in until 2 hours before the ceremony, but I thought he closed it out in spectacular fashion with a great message to the people and just how important LSU was to him, and still basically wanting to see great things happen for LSU even when he was at Alabama.
And I believe him.
Yeah, he was a great speaker, and he is so knowledgeable and such a grand man. Of course, he is the greatest, might be the greatest college coach of all time.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Certainly football. It could be. You could put him in any sport. No doubt.
And he was hired by the best baseball coach of all time. So pretty interesting.
But Natchitoches was a great weekend. It's a lot of fun every year, but to have friends there, that made it even better.
Here's Ian Smith, line to base hit to center his first time, and he's taking, and it's low. And he was taking all the way. And just watching him there, bat on shoulder, it's 1-0. Straight away defensively. It was a lot of fun. Look, Danny Broussard's a friend of mine. He's a great guy and an even better coach. Friends with his brother Ricky as well, but I've covered Danny for years, and he's as good as it gets, and he's still doing it, much like Joe Sherman is still doing it.
What a character he was, man.
And Danny had more people there than anybody. Here's the 1-0. That's in the dirt, so Tingstrom has suddenly lost command. It's 2-0.
Yeah. And I think this was the first time you've had a chance to go, Ken. Marty's been a bunch. I've been a bunch. The high school coaches are the ones who, I guess their tentacles and their impact is the greatest. The biggest crowd I've ever seen there for one person, you could guess for days.
That's in the dirt, so now it's 3-0. Go ahead.
Yeah. Pete Boudreau, the Catholic high track and field coach, easily had the biggest crowd I've ever seen in the Natchitoches Event Center.
So Tingstrom is now 3-0 to Smith, threatening to load the bases.
And
Smith will take a pitch here.
Some starring down.
And he got one over. It's 3-1. Yeah, they had one up, and now they got another pitcher up. Now the interesting decision here, Marty, is do you swing with your best hitter 3-1 down by 4?
He swings.
Okay.
If he gets a fastball he likes, he's going to swing. He's told him, pick a spot, look for one pitch.
That missed away, and the bases are loaded. Caden Valley throws in the bullpen for K's for Kids, and suddenly Tingstrom has walked the bases loaded.
That's a good example right there. You trust your hitter, your best player, to not hit that pitch right there. Because he could have hit that and tried to do something with it. Not to be too aggressive.
I mean, go take it a step further. If you're selfish, you're swinging there.
Right.
If you're trying to help your team win, you're taking. And that's a young man that goes to showcases all the time, and he's a big-time prospect. He's trying to help the team. Here's Stewart, and he took it high and away. Stewart struck out swinging his first time on a 3-2 pitch after he showed bunt a couple of times and didn't get it down.
I think you make a good point there, Ken. That's one of the great things about if this is the weekend, he might have swung at that pitch.
And there's a strike. It's 1-1. I agree. And we say it all the time. How many of the people are playing for the M on that cap or the R on that cap? And it used to be where almost everybody was like that. It's not quite like that as much anymore because of outside interests. That's right down the middle. So you have to be ready to hit with the bases loaded, nobody out, and you take 2 strikes down the middle, and that's not a good spot for the hitter. It's 1-2. I know this much. Bases loaded, man, I want to hit. I'm ready. I might not hit, but I want to hit. On 1-2, Stewart has to shorten up here. Breaking ball missed up, 2-2.
He was trying to get time out right there, and the umpire wouldn't give it to him.
Saw that.
Yeah. His last at bat, he swung through a high fastball. I would expect him to get that again.
Right, elevate again. On 2-2, Tingstrom to the plate. He struck him out on a pitch way outside. Just not a good at bat at all. You take 2 fastballs down the middle and swing at a breaking ball, a foot off the plate. 1 out, and here's Brody Giglio.
That pitch had some nice glove side run there, Marty. It looked like it started on the outside corner and almost ended up in a left-handed batter's box.
Yeah, I think he just overpowered him with that, and the movement was the key, not the speed.
Correct. Giglio grounded to short his first time. Brother Martin looks for the double play ball. That's up. Pops out of the glove of Durant. It's 1-0. I remember Schexnayder pitched out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. Tingstrom trying to do the same thing here. And very capable of doing it.
Yeah, but he's right in the meat of their order, too.
Hard hit ball inside the line. 1 run is home. 2 runs will score. Runner for third. He is sliding safe. Into second with a double. Brody Giglio hits a 4-2 ball game.
Yeah, pitching out of bases loaded is one thing. It's hard to do when you're in the middle of their lineup. When they're sitting there sending up 2, 3, and 4, you're able to strike out 2 and 3 hits one down the line.
Now you've got the tying run in scoring position at second base. And here's Bryce Engel, who flew to center his first time. Get a courtesy runner as well.
Well, now you know why coaches hate base on balls. Because we were talking about how big this lead was.
It's what happened to Rummel in the first. Straight up in the air. That's not going to be deep enough. Right fielder Ron will make the catch. Runner will tag, but no chance to advance. That's a huge out on the first pitch, no less. That's a huge out to get the cleanup hitter. On a pop-up in the short right field that Catanzaro handles. And now it's up to Owen Nugent, who grounded out to second his first time.
Well, he did attack the first pitch, but it wasn't a bad pitch to hit. It looked like it was something he could handle. He just was a little tardy on it. Ends up popping it up to right field.
It's Joe Rivera running at second. Second and third, 2 outs. Here's Nugent in a big spot. Their big RBI man, 15 on the season here. High for ball 1. It's 15 in 10 games that they played on the field. So that's very impressive. He's a good two-way player, good pitcher. Arguably their best pitcher as well, but he pitched in their last regular season game, which I want to get into, which I alluded to earlier. 1-0 the count. And he's late and fouls it. It's 1-1. Cypress Physical Therapy won this league a couple years ago from Lutcher. They got eliminated the night before last Thursday from playoff contention, and they still elected to go through with a makeup game, which meant nothing to them, and travel to Rummel to do it. And Rummel was undefeated and would have been undefeated number 1 seed had they won, and Cypress Physical Therapy went and beat Rummel. Fouled out a play right side. It's 1-2. Only loss of the season for this Malcolm Dienes team, but that illustrates how much this means to people in this summer league.
Well, you're going to play to win. 2, if you choose not to play, then you're losing a chance at development. You give your kids one more chance to get out there.
Struck him out on a big elevated fastball. That's a big pitch. Well, he strands the runners in scoring position by getting a pop out and a strikeout. 2 runs cross the plate. Happens on just 1 hit. No errors and 2 men left. That's 3 stranded for Malcolm Dienes. We go to the 4th, and it's Case for Kids up 4-2 over Malcolm M. Dienes. Well, you had 2 shots there, Marty. The 4 and 5 hitters with runners at second and third, and you can't get the job done.
No, and the first one was a pitch I thought he could handle, and he popped it up, which was an easy out. And then the second was a strikeout. So there's not even a play to be made. You got to hit the ball hard. You got to make them make plays, especially when you got guys in score position, because high school kids have trouble when there's pressure, and that's what it's all about, getting pressure on the other team. And a pop-up and a strikeout just doesn't get that done.
Caden Valley continues to throw in the Case for Kids bullpen, so not out of the question we might see him in the near future.
Well, I'm sure they came into this game saying, okay, we're going to use these 2 guys today and these 2 guys tomorrow. And of course, you hope you don't have to use the second guy, but you're anticipating it. It's 7 innings is tough for a kid to throw. He'd have to be dominant to get through the whole 7 for you. So they were planning on using 2. May not plan on using it this early, but they were planning on using 2.
And we look off beyond left field, and it looks a little dark, but it's what have we seen so far as things have been. Most everything's been staying north of I-10. Hopefully it stays there.
There you go.
It was darker a little while ago.
It was.
I wasn't saying nothing, though. I wasn't jinxing this now.
I wasn't either. He had to come in and say that. Swing and a miss by Todd, and it's 0-1. I wasn't saying a word. I was just pointing because I wasn't going to say a thing.
No, you weren't. I didn't. I'm not mentioned. You don't mention the R word. There's certain words you do not mention. Right?
1-1.
We don't talk about no hitters, which is certainly not in play. But
so dark is okay.
Yeah, it's
dark's
fine.
because
ominous.
it's cooler, man.
Ominous, whatever. Yeah, you call it. Yeah.
Here's the bunt toward third. Third baseman handles, sets and throws right on the money. Nugent throws out Totten for out number 1. So they, again, trying to make Schexnayder move and feel the ball, but that time the third baseman, Nugent, handled it cleanly. No problem.
Well, you show that early. You can't bunt for a hit that early and show it that early, because they will jump all over you.
Camber Keller.
This Camber Keller, great to see the new UNO head coach out here watching. Really good guy. Had him on the radio show last week. A Dienes coach here as well. This pitch hit him. He grazed him, so that's a hit batsman, and Keller's on. So 3 base runners have been the nemesis of both clubs here today. It led to the runs for Case for Kids in the first, and it led to the runs for Malcolm Dienes in the third. And here's another 3 base runner. And now Brady McCluskey, who's walked and scored and struck out.
Brady McCluskey.
Keller a threat to run. That's a strike. Now, Marty, bigger pitchers typically are slower to the plate, but he used kind of a slide step there, didn't he?
He is. You look to see how wide their feet are when they set. If they set close together, and he's not that close, he can slide, step, and go. When they put their feet together, it gets them in trouble.
Missing down and in, it's 1-1.
That's why it's good to have a coach in the booth with us. I would have never looked for something like that.
One. Over but just down. It's 2-1 on McCluskey. 1-on-1 out here in the top of the 4th. Semifinal number 1. And it's 4-2 Case for Kids over Malcolm M. Dienes. Winner to the championship game tomorrow at 6 p.m. Live on Crescent City Sports. 2-1. And now it's 3-1 delayed steal. Good break, good throw, and out at second base.
Wow.
Boy, Giglio again with a really good throw. And again, Smith with a quick tag. I'm so impressed with Smith. He's really quick. He's good. He's got good hands, good arm. And again, that's 3 base runners caught stealing. Jeff Lupo wants to argue the call, thinking his runner was safe. It was close, to be certain.
So the runner's going to stand out there, and they're going to come over here and talk about it.
I mean, he's either out or he's safe, and I get it. You want the explanation? Runner will lead the base.
I hate to say this, but the rule where the coach can only go to the foul line, I'm glad they got rid of. They started that after I was done.
Oh,
I'd be chasing them all over the field. If I had to stay there, he could just walk off and I'm done.
How long before you can't leave the dugout other than the coach third, or first? That's it. Yeah.
Ball four, so that's a big out at second. Because now, instead of 2 on, you get a runner first, 2 outs, and we'll see if McCluskey wants to run. But Brother Martin's 0 for 3 stealing bases in this game. Well,
Kenny, they've thrown 2 guys out stealing on delays. And as a coach, what you're looking for is the fielders being too far away and their heads going down after the pitch, and that's what you're basing it on. But they were able to get over there and make the tag on both of those.
Lamont took a pretty good-looking pitch, called the ball. He tripled his last time and scored after he singled home a run in the first, so he's having quite an afternoon here. And Bertucci in the bullpen for Malcolm Dienes. He's ready when needed. 1-0. High fastball, and he swung through it. 1-1.
Well, he was trying to see if he could hit it 404 because he took a hack right there. He was definitely on the knob on that one.
1-1. Runner goes, pitches down, and he'll steal this one because Giglio bobbled. So McCluskey gets himself in a scoring position. Count goes to 1-2 on Lamont, who now has a chance to continue his splendid afternoon.
That was a straight steal right there, not a delay like the other 2 were. And, hey, Coach Lupo's going to keep the pressure on. There's no doubt.
Oh, front door breaking ball. Nice pitch. 2-2.
That's the one he's got to land. He's got to land that breaking ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, nice breaking ball. That one got a piece of Giglio. Foul tip, and that one hit him somewhere. Leave it at that. He's walking it off. Umpire lets him do so as he goes to the mound and kills for time. Strikeout pitch there, and somehow Lamont was able to just get a small piece of it.
Yeah, the catcher got a small piece of it, too.
He didn't like it very much. Yeah, you must have caught back in the day. I'm just
yeah, once
saying,
or twice.
Right? Yeah. You never miss any of those.
No.
And you don't miss them now either.
They're lovely.
Up here. On 2-2, Lamont waits, and it's ball 3. Boy, McCluskey taking liberties off a second. He's got a large extended lead there. So now 3-2 on Lamont. This becomes a big pitch in the game. Malcolm M. Dienes got back in this game here.
Don't be
Can ill afford
surprised
to give up anything else.
if he starts McCluskey right here, too.
Exactly, with the jump he was getting. Because Smith has to guard the hole. McCluskey not going, and he goes around. He struck him out. That would have been a strikeout looking, but he got a foul tip into the mid, struck him out. And that's strikeout number 5 for Schexnayder. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left. That's 5 stranded by Case for Kids. Bottom of the 4th coming, and it remains 4-2. Case for Kids over Malcolm M. Dienes. Today's coverage of the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League is brought to you by Gibbs Construction, a leader in the construction industry in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast for more than 45 years, transforming dreams, visions, and plans into reality. Gibbs Construction.
By Crescent City Sports.
You know, Kenny, we're talking about it being developmental league, and you see right there McCluskey bouncing around a second, and he's probably good. What he's got is being such a fine runner is he's got a green light. If he gets the timing right, he feels like he can steal it. He can take off on any pitch. I think on that last pitch he was looking to, he didn't have the timing right, so he didn't go.
And do not require a subscription.
But this is what is fun to watch these guys. You know, summertime, the coaches allow them to do a little bit more than they would do in prep, you know, and it's fun to watch the development here, and then turn around and see how they play in the spring.
At the same time, you want to be able to learn about your players. It's not, you know, this is the way if you're going to gain trust in your players to be able to do something. This is the opportunity to gain that trust, do everything you want to do in the cage, during practices, during scrimmages and things like that. But these are the opportunities to gain that trust. You know,
I went and watched a couple of the games, and I watched Terrebonne a couple times, who, you know, mismatched a couple of games that I saw. But
Smashed in the center and a good running catch.
Yeah.
Tyler Formost stung that ball hard. McCluskey got a good jump and ran it down.
Yeah, it's interesting. McCluskey was playing a little shallow there, and that could have been, that ball was slicing towards the left center field gap. He doesn't run it down. That's going to roll a long way.
And he's outstanding though out there.
Yeah, he got a great jump, so he can do that. It's just because of his ability to get a read. He can play a little more shallow.
Here's Bo Stevens, struck out looking his first time against Tingstrom. And a tapper foul. It's 0-1.
Just to finish the point I was trying to make was watching Terrebonne was there were games where they were down 7-8 runs, and they were still bunting guys over because that's what that kid's going to do in the prep season.
Sure.
And 0-2 to Stevens.
It wasn't about trying to win today. It was about getting him the work he needs,
And I'll tell you what, between innings, we're going to get to that story a little bit about just what
There's a line drive to center, and McCluskey can't get that one. A base hit. So two really well-struck balls.
Wasn't far away from it, though.
That ball could have gotten over his head.
Yeah.
He was very shallow.
Yep, no doubt.
And Bo Stevens, again, remember that name. That is an 8th grader going into 9th grade. And that kid can hit.
We did Jesuits playoff game here.
Second baseman.
And same thing. The right fielder for Ponchatoula kept getting closer, and then one jumped over his head. It's you can get yourself in no man's land around here.
Ben Hurd walked and scored in the 3rd inning. Swings and misses here. Tingstrom entered this inning with 63 pitches. 4 strikeouts and 3 walks. The pitch count is up for him. He needs a quick inning here. Bullpen busy. Hurd fouls it back quickly, 0-2. Well, it was 0-2 to Stevens, but 2 very hard-hit balls here.
But
in the 4th.
Some of the games we did earlier in the year, we talked about alignment out there where the center fielder is up and the corners are back, or the corners are up and the center fielder is back. You see, they just flipped that here.
Right.
Popped him up right side. First baseman over, might have a play. He reaches and can't get it. Just up against the picnic area down the right side here at John Ryan Stadium. And it holds at 0-2.
Tell you what, this place, it's hard to believe this place is now 13 years old. They did a magnificent job taking a lot of things into account and trying to build a multi-purpose facility. It's got a lot of great features to it.
And they keep it clean. They've taken great care of this.
No doubt about it. Look, and that starts at the top with David Morrow, the athletic director, who you know how detail-oriented Dave is, and it's going to be that way.
Just down a ball. That's a tough take. Good 0-2 pitch, but it's 1-2.
Excuse me, Coach. Could you come to my office after your class is over?
No, thank you. I don't want Dave Morrow calling me into the office.
We just saw a little lightning, guys.
Yeah, it's
Frank Cazzo just pointed to it.
We don't want anybody get hurt.
No, Frank's trying to tell them, look, we can't do this under these circumstances, and there it is.
There it is. Let's see what.
We don't see any rain around us, but we hear the lightning and thunder.
Right. All right. It's supposed to be. We may see some light rain, possibly coming through, and some of that could be out over the lake. Frank Cazzo is going in, I think, to talk to.
Maybe
perhaps
Kenny
his
Goodlett.
trainer, or Kenny Goodlett. Usually the home. Yeah.
Kenny's walking toward the Rummel dugout right now. So Tingstrom's going to stay loose just in case.
Yeah, says I ain't standing out there.
I saw what he saw.
Yeah, but now we will stop it right now. They just wanted to check on the situation, and we go into a delay. And of course, when you're dealing with lightning, that's going to be at least 30 minutes.
Well, this isn't the prep season, so that's not necessarily the case. That's going to be up to the umpires and the coaches involved in this. So this is not an LHSA situation at all. So we're going to go down and check on that to see.
Right, just to make sure, yeah. But again, there is now some weather starting to generate around us, and a lot of it has been to our north and east up until this point. But we will see what's going on. We'll go check on it, but we will keep you posted. We're going to stay live with you for the moment in a delay.
The app I use had the last strike at 3.7 miles.
Okay,
that's well inside the area.
No doubt. That's some people do 7, some people do 8, some people do 10. Yeah, that's.
Well, we can get down. One of us can go check with Kenny Goodluck. Kenny, this is their home field, and he's governing the entire process here. So, no doubt he's going to go explain to the umpires what he's seen and what they see, and decide how long they'll have to wait to see what transpires. So we're in the bottom of the 4th. Let's recap what's happened up until now. In the top of the 1st inning, Brennan Ramon pitching for Malcolm M. Dienes, and he just didn't have it. He's had a great summer, but he just didn't have it today. Camber Keller, a walk. Brady McCluskey, a walk. Bronson Lamont, an RBI single. Colton Elliott with a single to load the bases, and then Tyler Durant hit by a pitch. Played in a run to make it 2-0. Grayson Schexnayder came in, struck out the side at that point to get out of the jam. Stayed that way until the top of the 3rd. A triple by Bronson Lamont, and an RBI single by Colton Elliott for K's for Kids made this a 4-0 ball game. Then we got to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Malcolm M. Dienes got on the board as Ben Hurd walked, Jack Hurd walked, Ian Smith walked to load the bases. 1 out later, Brody Giglio doubled home 2 runs to make it a 4-2 game, but Blaze Dingstrom pitched around 2nd and 3rd, 1 out to avoid any further damage, and that's how we got to 4-2 here. Going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Interesting game so far, Marty. I mean, both teams have had opportunities to add more. Brother Martin had bases loaded, nobody out, couldn't score. Brother Martin had 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, couldn't score. And
that's the difference in the game right now is they've had their chances to blow the game open or to get back to tied, and they didn't execute. And that's what the coaches will remember. And they'll when they bring them together, whenever this thing is over, that's what they'll talk about is the opportunities to let get away.
Without a doubt. I mean, that's the biggest thing of all is that when you have runner in scoring position or you have a runner at 3rd, number one is you got to put the ball in play. I mean, more than anything else. And the second part of that is, depending on the situation, you need a medium fly ball or you need a ground ball middle of the diamond if the infield's back. Yeah. I mean, situational hitting is everything in baseball. Everything.
And sometimes it's not necessarily getting a hit, it's just getting it on the field where they have to do something with it, and neither team was able to do that with 3 strikeouts and a pop-up and a strikeout. So they both had opportunities, and they'll talk about that. That'll be, the loser will talk about it. The winner will learn from it and go on,
And sometimes you have it, and sometimes you don't. You feel bad for Brennan Ramon. He's had a tremendous summer, and he just didn't have it today. I mean, he went out there and he just had no command from the start.
He didn't, and I think he was amped up a little bit. I think he made the moment bigger than it was, and I think he struggled with that. But that's also part of the learning process, too, because he may just have the ball in his hand come a semifinal game next year where he'll have to get the job done, or in the playoffs with the best of 3 each time, and they'll count on him, and he'll have this experience to go back and learn from.
So the situation is such, K's for Kids 4, Malcolm M. Dienes 2, as we are playing in the bottom of the 4th inning with a runner at first base and 1 out, a 2-2 count on Ben Hurd, and we're getting official word now. The soonest we will resume is 5:48, so 30 minutes from the time it stopped. It will be the soonest we would resume would be at 5:48. So with that, we're going to tell our viewers to stay tuned here. We're going to keep our video up, keep our slate up, and we will be back on microphone here around 5:40 or so to let you know exactly what's going on at that particular point in time. Again, we are in the 4th inning of Game 1 semifinals of the Crescent City Sports Summer League, and K's for Kids leading Malcolm M. Dienes 4-2. So we will come back at you. Stay with us. Don't tune us out. You can continue to watch, and we'll have the video back up as soon as we're ready to go, which will be hopefully later this hour here on CrescentCitySports.com. Welcome back to John Ryan Stadium. We resume play after a rain delay, which encompassed over an hour here at John Ryan Stadium in Metairie. In the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League semifinals, we're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Case for Kids leading Malcolm M. Dienes 4-2. Ken Trahan with Lenny Van Gilder, Marty Luquette. And in the bottom of the fourth inning, the situation is 1 on, 1 out for Malcolm M. Dienes with Ben Hurd at the plate in a 2-2 count against Blaze Tingstrom, who has returned to the game. It is 1-2, pardon me, 1-2 count with Blaze Tingstrom back on the mound. He was the starting pitcher, and he has been able to return. He went out and got loose and told his coach he felt fine. So he has returned to the mound. And we have Bo Stevens at first. He's singled with 1 out. And Tingstrom will be ready to work to Ben Hurd as play resumes. So we thank everyone for being with us, staying with us, and staying patient as we're ready to go. So here's Hurd
with the
1-2 count.
2 strikes, and there's 1 out.
Tingstrom, see how he's able to respond. The pitch, foul back to the netting. Pump to strike. Hurd fouled it back. So we're back underway at 6:14.
Yeah, 56 minutes officially on the delay. We had the lightning strike at 5:18.
Hey, they're used to doing this. We walk off and come back all the time. So, especially summertime in New Orleans.
On 1-2, here it comes. High 2-2. Now, let's let the audience know too. We had the person in charge of the field here check the field, check the mound to make sure that it was playable and got a passing grade. Wouldn't have sent the players back out otherwise. 2-2. That's up, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, this was obviously a team effort. You're talking to the Jesuit staff and the John Ryan staff, and both head coaches, and getting a feel for what exactly was best for both teams.
Payoff pitch almost hit him, so a walk, and it's 2 on, 1 out for Jack Hurd. So that's walk number 4 issued by Tingstrom, and again, Marty, to your point, we want to watch closely to see how he comes back from a 56-minute delay.
There's no slipping, though, so the field's not an issue right here. He hasn't looked down. He hasn't kicked at the mound at all. You know, it's just a matter of how does he handle that hour delay.
Jack Hurd has walked and scored a run, 2 on, 1 out. And that's up, 1-0. Throwback gets away, but no advance. Malcolm Dienes, if you're watching, in the black tops with the scarlet red numerals and red sleeves. And Case for Kids in the old gold tops with the 2-tone caps, including the red flavor. There's a strike called, and it's 1-1. Crimson color, Brother Martin, will go along with the old gold look. At times they've had the old yellow gold look, just depends on which team and which era. I like the old gold, frankly. There's that. Settle the color issue. Nobody's home. 1-1 the count. Right down the middle, and he fouled it back.
By the way, K's for Kids is a charity that Keegan Gillis, when he played for Brother Martin and went on to play for Tulane, along with his family, started to help raise funds per strikeout for the Miracle League, which is obviously something that is very close to everyone at Brother Martin's heart. They host the annual event for the Miracle League on their campus every May.
Ground ball to the pitcher. This could turn. Second for 1, first for 2. There's the eraser. 1-4-3 double play. Inning over with no runs and a hit, no errors, 1 left. That's 4 stranded for Malcolm Dienes. We played 4, and it's 4-2. K's for Kids on top.
So to finish that story, because there is an end to the story, that's the name, but earlier today, Keegan Gillis was selected. He's still playing AA baseball in the Baltimore Orioles system and having a great year, by the way, and was selected to play in the MLB Futures game in Atlanta a week from Saturday. So congratulations to Keegan on that honor. Look, he's, an older guy. He pitched 5 years at Tulane, so that's, that's could be a situation how, pro franchises deal with those guys when they're a little bit older, but obviously, he's getting a shot to to play in that futures game. So maybe, as a closer, he's still got a shot maybe to really fulfill his dream of getting to the major leagues.
I don't know his story, but if he's with the same organization, then they are very interested in him to stay that long. Now, they bounce around a little bit sometimes in the minor leagues, and and then it's just a matter of, is he executing? Can he make it to the show? Obviously, the futures game is being selected there is a big step, and shows that he's having an outstanding year. It's not unusual to jump from Double-A to the major leagues.
We have a new pitcher here for Malcolm M. Dienes. It's Brody Bertucci, who becomes the third pitcher of the game for Malcolm Dienes. And Brody Bertucci has done a good job. He's going into his senior season. Bertucci, 6 appearances in the summer, and he's 1-0 with an 0.66 earned run average, and he has a save. 10 2/3 innings. He's only given 3 hits, 1 earned run. He's walked 5, struck out 12, and the whip is 0.75. Awfully good for Brody Bertucci for Malcolm Dienes. He'll try to keep this game where it is.
And I would think, Banks, based on what he's seen all summer, Frank Hazzo has to be encouraged by his pitching staff going into 2026. You got a staff ERA of 1.2 over the course of the summer.
And he had the questions. Brother Martin has a lot of pitching back, but Frank's going to have to develop a staff for next year, and I think this summer was a great start.
Colton Elliott.
Well, Ramon's been really good. He just wasn't here tonight, so he's confident in him. Likes Bertucci, and you saw Schexnayder. Schexnayder, 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Here's Colton Elliott. Way outside from Bertucci with the fastball. Elliott's 2 for 2 with a run scored and RBI. Both singles. The Crusaders have out-hit the Raiders 5-3. Raiders have the only 2 errors of the game. Strike call, 1-1.
And both those errors were made on the mound.
Shade him the hit to the off-field around the outfield. Outside, it's 2-1. Second game to follow in the semifinals. Jesuit-based Retief Oil. John Curtis Christian-based River Ridge Patriots. 2-1 pitch. Now 3-1.
We will be about 30 minutes between games, since obviously we were scheduled to start game 2 in 9 minutes. That's not going to happen.
You mean they can't get that many outs that quickly? That's not even close. So a leadoff walk to Elliott. This is what got Malcolm Dienes in big trouble earlier. The walks. And you cannot give a really good team free base runners. And that's what happened in the first inning when Case for Kids scored twice. Both teams' walks led to opposing teams' runs. And now Durand. Tyler has been hit by a pitch, and he has a sacrifice bunt. His hit by pitch plated a run in the first inning. That's a good fastball. It's 0-1.
Yeah, Kenny, 2 things that drive coaches crazy are leadoff walks and 2-out walks, and because they roll the lineup. And we'll see if Brother Martin is able to capitalize on this leadoff walk.
0-2. Fastball again from Bertucci.
Earlier in the game, he was bunting in situations like this. He's turning his hitter loose.
Right down the middle. Fastball gets Durand for out number 1. And now Luke Gabb, who is struck out, and he's lined to left.
First baseman, Luke Gabb.
I've had a good crowd here. A really good crowd early. I mean, at 4 o'clock game, we had 200, 250 people here.
Absolutely. It was
early start.
great start. Great to start, and they're obviously...
Some have stuck around.
Yeah, and they're filtering in for the next game.
That's a good pitch for a strike. It's 0-1.
This is always a fun time on in a doubleheader situation. You get late in the first game and you got fans from all 4 teams in the ballpark, in the arena, whatever the case may be, and then you've got especially with a competitive game going on too.
Another good pitch for a strike, and it's 0-2. And this catcher, Giglio, does a good job. Marty, you're a catcher. He's a good framer. He sets sets these pitches up pretty nicely, doesn't he?
What he's doing is setting up pre-pitch very well. He's getting into the spots he wants, and he's allowing him to throw it inside of his body. See how he slides out after he shows it?
And he struck him out swinging. Well, I mean, he hit location, which is off the plate away. A perfect 0-2 pitch.
But my point is the catcher slid out there. He wants him to throw it to the middle of his body, even though it's off the plate. So he takes his body that far out. And that's why many times you hear, why'd they throw that waste pitch out there? Well, there's the reason right there. People swing at it sometimes.
2 gone for Amity, who's singled and struck out. Breaking ball away. 7-inning game. No wind to speak of at all now. 2-0, and it was quite different at the start of the game when the wind was blowing out at 10 miles an hour. So heavy air now. Ball will not travel as it did earlier. Saw a triple. It was hit to deep center earlier.
Damp. It's damp now. The air's heavy. It's going to be tough to... It was always tough to get one out of here, but it won't be almost impossible now.
Two misses away, so he walked the leadoff man. Struck out 2 in a row. Now he's 3-0 to Amity. There's a strike called. It's 3-1. Travis Posey's in the house, so I guess I won't get any pizza. 3-1 to count.
How about that?
In.
How about that? He's on vacation. And here he is at the ballpark.
Just walked in, smiling as always. On 3-1, here it comes, and it's 3-2. Look out over toward the Malcolm M. Dienes dugout.
And even if he wasn't on vacation, they're normally closed on Mondays anyway.
That's
so
true. A lot of people are. And then,
yeah.
Well, he ought to be at the ballpark whether you're on vacation or not.
Exactly.
Vacation just means you got more time to go to the ballpark.
It's the only
right?
place to be. I got my ballpark trip coming up shortly here in the next couple of weeks.
It wouldn't be Busch Stadium, would
You
it?
think? 3-2 the count.
It might be.
Baseball heaven. It might be. It could be. It is. Runner will take off. Play behind him. There he goes. Fouled out of play. Let's do it again. Watch the vehicles.
Yes.
You got a strategic parking spot here, John?
I do. Always have. I'm not disclosing it, but my car's easy to spot.
There you go.
It's the one with the dents in it.
I got most ballparks scouted out pretty well.
I've got a big dent right off the mirror on the right side.
no.
I'll tell you that story later.
Okay. Runner will take off again. Ball 4, 2 on. So a chance for K's for Kids, thanks to a couple of walks again.
Yeah, see our friend Tommy Mitchell sitting down there. I remember one game we did here several years ago. He took one in the window.
Oh.
Right fielder.
But it happens.
That's five walks and 2 hit batters issued by Malcolm Dienes pitching, and that's not a great recipe. Here's Luca Catanzaro, who struck out and grounded out. He could strike a big blow here. 2 runs, you consider yourself in touch. More than that, this late in the game, it's tough. Stretch and the pitch. And that's a strike called. It's 0-1. Breaking ball not competitive. It's 1-1. Hasn't really been able to land the breaking ball, Marty. That's thus far has been a one-pitch guy.
Now, he's been painting with the one pitch, but
yeah. 1-1. Threw the fastball by him. 1-2.
that pitch was elevated. Good fastball.
A ball and 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 outs. 2-run lead for Case for Kids. And now 2-2.
You know, with the style of hitting that many coaches are teaching now with the launch angles and all, pitching fast, hard at the top of the zone is the way to get them out. And we see him chase them every now and then.
Swing path being under those efforts. 2-2. And again, he can't land the breaking ball. And the hitters know that. They know that it's basically one pitch I'm going to look for. And now the runners get a big jump here, and that's a huge situation with 2 outs. Hit will definitely score a run, could score 2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. They're going to take off here. You know it's a fastball. Here it is. Fastball. Fouled out of play. And I say that because, he has to. He's not been close on his breaking ball.
If you can't throw it for a strike, you can't throw it 3-2.
No.
And so he's sitting dead red, looking for something that's up enough that he can drive. All the hitter has to do here, forget the pitch. The location tells him where he's going.
We're due another payoff pitch, and the runners once again will take off. Said that a lot. There they go. Here's the pitch, and that is a strike call. Got the call just off the outside edge, and we just want consistency. It's a pretty good pitch, whether it's a strike or not, and the inning is over. So he strikes out the side with 2 walks mixed in. Rather strange inning, and 2 men left on base, and now 7 left. 4 Ks for Kids. Let's take a stretch here. Bottom of the 5th, and it's 4-2. Ks for Kids on top. Today's coverage of the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Pre-Owned has a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all makes and models. We have great deals. Must be a reason.
My son drives a Lamarck pre-owned.
Jude will be here tomorrow night. He drives a Lamarck. New vehicle. I drive a Lamarck. New vehicle. Denise drives a Lamarck. New vehicle. And
must be a reason.
Jacob drives a Lamarck. Vehicle. Must be a reason.
Go spend 10 minutes with Ronnie Lamarck. You'll know the reason. What a fabulous guy.
Well, his dealership.
You won't get out in 10 minutes, though. I'll tell you that.
Look, I mean, I know it's a popularity contest, but you got these different animals that have these contests, best of every year, and they've been voted best dealership for what, 9 straight years?
9 straight years, yeah.
And the reason for that, there it is again, reason. It must be a reason. Is because of the way they treat people. It's personal. It's helpful. And they really want to do good by the customer. I've brought a lot of people over there, and none of them have ever been disappointed. I had one in particular, I'm not going to name names, drove them out of their minds. And general manager Ray Hoffman,
Caden Valley,
went through about 2 hours of finally wrangling and doing everything they wanted in and told me afterwards, thanks a lot, don't send it back. Okay. So Caden Valley's going to take over as we speak. Caden Valley's done a really good job. So the numbers on Valley, we'll give you those in a moment. Caden's a senior. I know his mom very well. She's sitting over to my left. Former sensation. And Caden, 3 appearances, 1-0, a 1-point earned run average. Pitch from Caden is away to Ian Smith, who's singled, stolen a base, walked. It's 1-0. Valley, 14 innings, only 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 11 walks, 13 strikeouts. It's been dominant. The walks are the only issue. Fly ball right side, that's trouble. If it gets down, right fielder on the run, though, will get there and make the catch. Cannonzaro had a long way to go, and he makes the catch in foul territory. Round number 1, that's a big out to get Smith to start the inning.
Well, Kenny, you keep putting out these numbers of ERAs and strikeouts per inning, and the numbers you're giving, you'd swear they never lost a game all summer.
Well, we're going to
wait a minute. They didn't lose any games all summer.
We're going to get a hitter here. So Mikey Posey, speaking of Travis Posey, Mikey Posey is going to bat here, so Mikey gets the opportunity, and the Pizza family is watching closely.
Well, they waited to hit him till
Mia's got her Raider jersey over here. She's got her video camera working. Here's the pitch. Mikey swings and misses at a fastball.
The batter is number 5.
Mikey Posey.
Mikey Posey.
Getting the opportunity here. Posey is 3 for 6 with 2 doubles and 6 RBIs in the summer. And he chops it over the pitcher's head. Second baseman gets there, has time, and throws him out. 2 gone. Hamidi throws out Posey. So now 2 disposed of by Valley. And he'll deal with Brody Giglio. And it's important to get through this part of the order because not likely to get back to it at this point if you retire them in order. And Giglio has the 2-run double, and he's grounded to short. Brody takes it down, ball 1. Caden Valley has waited his time to be a primary pitcher for Brother Martin. He'll get that chance next school year. Got the call over the inside edge. It's 1-1. He's got a little bit of crossfire in him, Marty.
No, he does. He starts out on the first base edge, and then his stride goes straight forward almost to the third base side, and he throws across his body. He's got a nice big chest, so he's throwing a lot of arm.
Breaking ball away.
But he's a slinger, and it has a little jump to it.
2-1. Bullpen busy for Case for Kids again. Swing and a miss. Good pitch. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He's taking that, leaving it off the corner, letting it come back just a hair, and they're chasing it.
On 2-2. Now it's 3-2. The line on Tingstrom, 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs earned. He walked 4, struck out 4. He can win, cannot lose. 3-2 on Giglio. Trying to get on ahead of Hingle. Playing the hit to the off field. Payoff. Ball 4. 2-out walk issued. We'll get Bryce Hingle to the plate, who's flying to center, flying to right. And flying to right back in the third was a big play. They had second and third, 1 out. Could not get it deep enough to get a run home.
Well,
we'll get a runner at first base. Rivera will run.
You were talking about
Giglio.
Not rolling the lineup over and getting back to the big hitters. 2-out walks are the kind of things that makes that occur, and it makes the 7th inning that much harder to navigate as a coach.
The pitch, breaking ball low to Hingle.
I don't know if we'll see any movement over there. Coach Cazzo loves to run. He is a big-time gambler, but...
He got the call. He's called that pitch off the plate all day, so you can't argue with it, right? 1-1.
Right fielder, Bryce Hingle.
You can't argue with it, but you can't hit it either.
No, it's hard to hit. I mean, unless you're looking for it and you're just trying to go the other way. On 1-1. Down a ball, and if you're a pitcher and you're a coach, you recognize this and you instruct it, say that's where we want the pitch. 2-1 the count on Hingle. Driven in 5 in the summer for Malcolm Dienes. On 2-1. And now it's 2-2. That's a good pitch to hit. Wasn't swinging. Even up. Now the outfield will shift with 2 strikes. They plan on pitching him away, so center fielder McCluskey shifts. So does the left fielder Toten over toward center field. On 2-2, here it is. Breaking ball popped up right side. First baseman should have a play. He's there. Putting it away. His Gab, inning over. No runs, no hits. 1 man left on base, and that's 5 stranded by Malcolm Dienes. 6th inning arrives, and it's 4-2 Case for Kids. Want to give a shout out. Told you the Case for Kids story earlier. Thanks to Malcolm Dienes. John Terrio, a good friend, and a man that's supported everything Tulane and Rummel that you can possibly support. He's a gigantic sponsor of Tulane Athletics, loves Tulane, and a gigantic sponsor of his alma mater, Archbishop Rummel, where you got a whole bunch of Terrios have gone to school there.
No doubt. You know, earlier, Ken, we were talking about what our champions went back and did the following year, and it's interesting. We talk about development and getting ready for the next year, and that's exactly what happened. We've had 3 years. We've had 3 champions. As you see, every one of them has gone on to play for a state championship the next year. You start with Jesuit 3 years ago. They won the championship. Retief Oil, Cypress Physical Therapy based at Lutcher, comes back the next year, wins a state championship. And then last year, Case for Kids wins a championship in the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League, comes back. They get to a state championship for the first time in 29 years. So, and they ran into a Catholic program that is, as we know, is very, very good. And but still, that's 3 years and 3 teams that have reached the state championship game in their respective division the following year. Who will it be this year? Well, of course, one thing we know is all of these 4 schools play Division I Select. They all play in District 9 5A, and we'll see how it all plays out. But obviously, all 4 of these teams that we're seeing here in the semifinals, all outstanding teams.
Justin Morgan.
We're going to get Justin Morgan to hit here for Case for Kids in the spot that Taunton was in. So Justin Morgan will get the at-bat here to start the top of the 6th inning 4-2 lead, K's for Kids. Bertuzzi delivers, and it's fouled out of play by Morgan. Justin Morgan, 571, no homers, 4 RBIs. The family legacy continues at Brother Martin with Justin Morgan.
Talk about guys trying to get to the big leagues, right?
AAA. Up for a ball, 1-1. Trey Morgan was a heck of a player.
Trey played, by the way, in that Futures game a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still in the infield or outfield now?
He's playing both. He's playing some first base, playing some left field. I tell you, obviously, you saw how good of a defensive first baseman he was during his time at LSU.
1-2.
But he's made some nice plays in left field as well. So, obviously, the more you can do, that's only going to help your chances because there's so, in this day and age, because you're carrying 13 pitchers, that leaves 13 position players to be able to play?
Right. Swing and a miss. Good fastball. Bertuzzi has a good heater, and he takes care of Morgan. Round number 1.
For a guy like Morgan who's so good, but is not as the size they're looking for.
He's not a power hitter.
He's not a prototype corner infielder, corner outfielder. Right. There's no doubt about that. Okay, but at some point, what you do at the plate speaks volumes. Right. And I mean, obviously, he's a plus, if not a plus defender, and he can certainly handle a bat as good as anybody.
A gap-to-gap hitter and a very good one. Swing and a miss by Keller, who's walked, been hit by a pitch, and reached on an error. So he's been on all 3 times.
He could play outfield during, early in the game and be an outstanding late inning first baseman.
Threw the fastball by him. This kid's got a pretty good fastball.
Mm-hmm. And he's not afraid to throw it right now.
No, that's been his primary pitch, as mentioned. They know it's coming, and they're not able to turn it around as of yet. 0-2. There it is again, but this one's off the plate. He's called pitches off the plate, but not that far off. It's 1-2.
No, not in the left-handed batter's box.
No. 1-2 the count. Breaking ball struck him out. That was a harder breaking ball and got him for out number 2. So that's 5 strikeouts. All 5 outs by Bertuzzi recorded are strikeouts. And here is McCluskey, who's walked twice, stolen a base, scored a run. He's 0 for 1.
Brady McCluskey.
It's 10 strikeouts for Malcolm Dienes pitching. They've had a lot of swing and misses. That's a good pitch. Strike called, 0-1. But
we had a bunch of called strikeouts there early when
in the first inning.
Schneider came in the game, right? But since then, we're seeing a lot of swings and misses. Certainly,
4 called strike threes and 6 swings. That's outside. It's 1-1.
But that's still a lot of strikeouts.
It is in less than 6 innings, and yet you're still ahead in the game, 4-2.
Is that the new normal in baseball now, Marty? All these 3 true outcomes.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
How much of that? I mean, I know we see it obviously at the major league level. You're seeing it at the college level. How much of that has trickled down to the high school level? Do you think?
Well, a lot in the hitting instructors' batting cages, and
now 3-1.
They talk exit velocity, angle, launch angle, tell them how far it was going, but they don't have the bodies to hit them out the park. That's the problem.
3 balls and a strike on McCluskey. Ground ball, nice play. Formo to the pitcher, good play. Formo to Bertuzzi. That's well done. I'm sure Glenn's happy about that.
Yeah. Look like him there.
He did a great job of waiting for the pitcher to get set. He could have gave it to him early right there and maybe got himself in trouble. But he allowed him to get his angle and get to where he was in good position before he gave it to him. That was an excellent job.
Well, it's getting late for Malcolm Dienes, down 4-2, bottom of the 6th. They've got 6 outs to play with as they try to come back in this game. Gated Valley back to work in his 2nd inning, pitched around a walk in the last inning. He'll be pitching the Nugent, Formo, and Stevens here in the 6th inning. The bullpen is busy for K's for Kids. And that is 24, who is, I don't have 24. We'll have to double check that. So,
but what you're doing right here, if you're Coach Cazzo, is you're down by 2. You're going to work for a run right here. Try to get it to a 1-run game, so that in the 7th you can pull it out in the bottom.
Yeah.
But when you're down by 2 in the 7th, you know, it's hard to get 2 base runners, and you're not sure how things are going to go. So right now, it's real important for Dienes to get 1 run at least.
Owen Nugent.
Here's Owen Nugent. It's grounded out, struck out. Pitch on the way. Up the it hits the back of the mound, goes to short, and the throw is high. Well, first things first, a terrible break for Nugent. That was a base hit to center, but it hit the back of the mound, and it caroms right to the shortstop, Keller. And Case for Kids getting a huge break there, but then the throw is high. So that will be an error, and the leadoff man is on. It's almost like justice, right?
I think he rushed it and he didn't have to.
Yeah, he had time.
Wow.
Not a fast runner. He had time. You're right.
Just the ball was hit sharply, so you had time to be able to make a throw.
He had plenty of time. He just didn't know it.
Tyler Formo.
Now Tyler Formo, he lined hard to center his last time. He's also grounded out. And he shoots one left side. That's slicing to foul territory, 0-1. Didn't quite have eyes.
Well, Coach Castle's making a liar out of me. I thought he'd play for 1 here. You know,
I don't think so in the 6th inning.
I'm always trying to make it a 1-run game going into the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have to cut that lead in half.
No balls and a strike.
Especially with the third baseman back right now, too. If you got one down, you might be able to bunt for a hit.
Good breaking ball. That's a strike. It's 0-2. And no bunt here. No way, no how.
Well, I've won a lot of games, and he's won more than me.
So. What are you trying to say, man? Here's the 0-2. Down and out, 1-2.
I'm trying to say he's got rings, and I don't.
I hear you.
Tell you, I've noticed both of these catchers today, their framing ability. I really, after watching the College World Series and the job that Caden Bonine did framing pitches.
Just missed.
Here's the thing about today.
Yeah, you notice it a lot more now.
That I absolutely love. They're stand-up catchers. They're not on one knee.
Mm-hmm.
Both catchers are upright,
and they're better throwers as a result.
And they're better receivers because of it.
Ground ball to second. The play will be to second. Get it out there. No relay. But that's one big out for Case for Kids. Formo will run at first after the fielder's choice, a 4-6 put out. And Bo Stevens will bat. He lined a single to center in the 4th. He's 1 for 2.
And right there, the second baseman.
You'll get a runner at first base. That'll be number 11 for Malcolm M. Dienes. Haven Hartman will run at first.
And the second baseman right there didn't hurry. He knew he was only going to get 1. Took his time and made sure he made a good throw.
Stevens slightly open stance. The pitch on the way. In the dirt. Nice block by Duran.
That's a big lead at first.
Running at first base is number 11, Haven Hartman.
Now, is this a situation you talk about trying to get the 1 here? Do you maybe try to?
He's going to steal.
You try to steal the bag here.
He's going to steal somewhere in this at bat.
That's a strike, and now it's quickly 1-1.
Usually right after the first strike you run, but we'll see if he does that.
Coach Cazzo with a whole bunch of signs. From the third base coaching box. Not going. Pitch missed inside, so it's 2-1.
And he got the breaking ball right there.
That was the pitch, right? Yeah. And an inside one at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2-1 now. There he goes. Fouled off to the third base side. He was late, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, you might say, well, that's a hit and run, but I'd be surprised. I think it's just he's stealing. You get a pitch to hit, you're supposed to hit it.
The old run and hit.
Yeah. Yeah, he hit it off to the third base side. If he shoots it through that shortstop spot, he has a hit.
Mm-hmm. And now you get the tying run on base if that happens.
Right.
Line drive base hit. I think I gave you guys a heads up earlier. That kid's an 8th grader, okay? He's a really good-looking prospect.
You know, and look, we've all watched this long enough. I can remember when you would have never seen that happen. It was a stunning development when you saw a sophomore playing for the varsity.
Yeah.
And now you get freshmen out there. I mean, the development at a younger age to be game ready at this level is tremendous.
I don't know about you and I, but going back to the old Rummel days, no way, no how a freshman ever plays varsity.
Probably a sophomore.
Sophomore. I mean, and
Look,
you remember how many incredible players were at that school.
That's why they don't.
Ben Hurd bats. He takes a fast one high. Hurd has walked twice in the game, so Malcolm Dienes has a chance here. 2 on, 1 out.
Yeah, we talked about. Yeah, go back to that 1980 state championship game we were talking about with Tyler Formo's dad Glenn playing shortstop for Rummel in that game. Yeah, Will Clark was a sophomore on that Jesuit team, and he was a part-time player.
Oh, he took a strike. Again, if you're going to show bunt, you got to bunt the ball, right? Third baseman's back, going toward the bag. It was a good idea, but he didn't offer at it. And, again, if they give you the bunt, right?
Third baseman's moved forward now. But he was way back last time.
He was way back. I mean, he didn't offer at it. 1-1 the count. Now swinging and fouling it back. So, it's a couple of times we've seen the Malcolm Dienes team had the bunt on and they took pitches and then took it off. You have to commit to bunting, okay?
But could that also be something where you're trying to get the defense to think something, and maybe you get that third baseman or first baseman playing in a step or two, and that opens up things a little bit more?
It might have just been a take.
Right.
Could have been. Fake bunts, and take on it.
Right. To give them the benefit of the doubt. That's high and away. It's 2-2. But given the position of the third baseman at the time, it would have been a good idea. We've seen Case for Kids get, 3 or 4 bunts down in this game. We haven't seen that happen for Malcolm Dienes. 2-2 the count. 2 on, 1 out. Big situation here if Hurd can deliver. And he took strike 3. You're not going to deliver by taking strike 3. 2 gone. Good pitch by Valley.
Right on the outside corner.
That pitcher's pretty much down the middle at the knees.
Yeah,
Center fielder.
That wasn't the one you were talking about earlier.
That's a strike all the way.
It wasn't beyond the flag, but it was a dude.
That's a strike all the way.
It might have got the play, yeah, but it's
strike every day. Here's Jack Hurd, who's walked and grounded into a double play. And he didn't mean to and hit the bat. It's 0-1. So fall behind in the count on a check swing. Valley trying to pitch around. The error in the base hit. Bullpen continues busy for Case for Kids, and that's a number we don't have, so we'd have to track that person down. Time called by Jack Hurd.
They're playing him to pull real, way in the hole. The shortstop is.
Third baseman playing no doubles.
And Frank Castle will steal third in this situation, believe me.
0-2. Valley's a pitch away from getting out of this.
Don't be surprised if he does it right here.
Yeah, about to say 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's not.
Well, Coach Cazzo would do anything right now to extend the inning and get Smith to the plate with people on base, but not looking good with 0-2 for that to occur.
The second baseman's close enough. Look, nobody knows Frank Cazzo better.
These guys, the thing is, these guys
know
play.
Each other so
well,
much,
when you play each other twice a year, and obviously, you how many times these teams all tend to see each other in the postseason as well.
Yeah.
Runners go, foul back. There you go. He started him. Trying to create something there.
And it's a situation, too, where even if the pitch is a ball, now you're making them make a play on a base instead of, you don't want to just give them second and third. You're going to try and make a play because if you double steal, now base hit ties the game.
And you usually waste that pitch either up and away or on the ground, and you make the catcher throw it quickly.
Bluff to second, nobody home. Got the uniform dirty, though. At least pebbles.
Few pellets, yeah.
That's off the plate. Off the plate and 1-2. Very good 0-2 pitch.
Oh, excellent 0-2. Location was fabulous.
And if you're hurt, you really need to look to go the other way. There's a gigantic hole, and they're pitching you away. And he got a pitch away again, and he spoiled a really good breaking ball. That was defense mode all the way, and he defended well.
Well, you got to extend your zone. You got to go get that ball that's on that line and hit it in that dugout. Not try to put it on the field, but just do something with it. You cannot leave this up to the umpire.
Watch what happened with the previous at-bat. Here we go. Runners go. High pitch. They got to throw to their second base, and he is out at second base. They made the right decision to throw to second, and the inning is over on a 2-4 putout to get Stevens on the back end. And in the inning, no runs and a hit, an error, and one man left on base. 6 stranded in the game by Malcolm Dienes. Go to the 7th, scheduled for 7. Case for Kids, an inning away from the championship game, leading Malcolm Dienes 4-2. Well, caught stealings have been a big part of this game.
That's a great call by Coach Lupo right there to throw out the trailer. The trailer has to make sure the guy goes. He's a step later than the guy on second. You think that throw's shorter, but you don't know how hard he was running. You know, was he full speed? I'm not saying he wasn't, because I didn't watch that closely him, but to get him thrown out there is huge.
Well, there's so much into that. You make the defense play. That's what Cazzo did. If that throws off the mark, the runner on the front end is going to come home and score. And the other runner is going to be maybe at third base, but good peg by Duran. Excellent play by Amity. Inning over, 4-2. We go to the 7th inning. Still to come, Retief Oil, based at Jesuit. And John Curtis Christian, River Ridge Patriots in the other semifinal game.
That was a situation where the coach trusts his guys, Kenny, knows what he's got, takes the shot there. That's the best chance to throw the guy out stealing, and he executes it. Great play.
Well, you've seen both catchers show you the ability to throw people out, which is impressive at this level. I mean, at the high school level, and you coached it for a long time, Marty, you want to put pressure on the defense all the time. There's not a whole bunch of dudes that can throw you out with any degree of consistency.
No, and when you have a catcher who can, you shut down a lot of offense.
Yeah.
You take a lot of things away from the opponent when your catcher can handle is a throwing catcher and a blocking catcher.
Third baseman.
They're so valuable.
Bronson Lamont.
You always talk about 90 feet. Don't let them move up 90 feet, and the catcher's responsible for a lot of that.
There's Bronson Lamont. He singled, tripled, struck out, driven home a run, scored a run. And it's up and in from Bertucci, who's done good work in 2 innings. He struck out 5, hasn't allowed a run. He hasn't allowed a hit yet. He has walked a couple. And now it's 2-0, and he can ill afford to give up anything else. In the heart of the order, 3, 4, and 5 bat here. There's an interesting note, too, I wanted to mention. I forgot to mention earlier. 2-0 pitch, and that is down. Brennan Ramon has been so good this year. And I wonder if this had an impact, guys. The last time he pitched a perfect game against Ponchatoula. He went the distance. You don't see that much in the summer league. And I wonder if that had an impact on him here this evening. But it just goes to show you about baseball. You go from a perfect game to not getting it out. There's a strike, 3-1.
This game will humble you in a hurry. And that's one of the beauties of it.
Yeah. He retired all 18 batters he faced in that game against Ponchatoula. That's high, so a leadoff walk, and that's a lot of trouble.
Probably didn't have to throw a lot of pitches, though. You think he only faced 6-inning game, faced 18 batters.
I did the story, and he didn't did not throw a ton of pitches in that game.
Maybe he threw 70 pitches. I'm just guessing. So it's not even a situation there where coming off of something like that. But
any fishing game like that, it would have been 80 pitches, and
Colton Elliott will bat with a runner at first.
He's going to bunt. Nope.
Outside and high. Of course, Elliott's 2 for 2 with 2 singles, an RBI, a run scored, and a walk. He's done everything here.
Yeah, you're not going to ask the middle of the order to bunt right here. You ask him to hit a double. That's your job.
Confidence, too, in your pitching. Throw to first. Malcolm Dienes checking on Lamont. Making sure. 2 steals on the summer for Lamont and as many attempts. High again. So suddenly, Bertucci's lost touch with the zone, and his catcher Giglio is going to go talk to him. No action in the bullpen. He's got a good fastball. We've said that before. I haven't seen the gun on him, but I got to imagine that's probably around mid-80s, Marty. He's throwing the ball pretty hard.
Yeah, he's pitching, and he's got good rotation. The fastball's got a little late life, so he's able to pitch up in the zone. And as long as he can do that, he can be effective. But you've got to be able to get ahead in the counts. They're not chasing 2-0.
That's a good one for a strike called. It's 2-1. Giglio will often set up off the plate, but he will receive the ball
in the center of his body.
To the center of the body. That's it.
That's where it's supposed to be.
2-1 the count. Foul back, 2-2. Good cut by Elliott.
And these are old style catchers because now everybody, you see them all, they all want to put one knee down. And it makes it much more difficult to get out of that to throw.
Remember Tony Pena, how he started that one leg, drag straight back? A lot of people copied that.
Now I don't know who started the, catching from one knee like so many do now.
2-2. Down and in.
I mean, there are advantages.
Tony ended up managing the New Orleans Zephyrs, and I did the games, and I asked him about it, and he told me, he said, I think it added to my career. I think I lasted a couple more years because of that. Yeah.
And the one knee is able to get the lower pitch. You're able to lift that low pitch.
Start the runner here, don't you? 3-2, nobody out, 2-run lead in the 7th.
I don't know.
Start him. Thank you. Ground ball is short, and guess what? It's going to pay off. It'll get the runner advanced.
Very, very.
And he's safe at first. That's an error on Smith. Normally a terrific shortstop. Made a good pick, but he made a bad throw, and Ormo couldn't dig it out. Now, Case for Kids can put this game away. 2 on, nobody out.
And there's the thing. He was on the move because of the runner going. Had to stop, then try to backhand. Maybe didn't get it. Again, we saw the play, the ball off the pitcher's mound the last day. Anytime you get a player out of rhythm a little bit, and they got to rush what it is they do and can't just make it in routine, you bring up the opportunity for a mistake to happen.
Kenny, you said, do you start the runner? The key there is the guy at the plate a contact guy. If he's going to make contact, you can start the runner. If he's a big swinger who strikes out a lot, you're not going to start him because you don't want to run into the double play.
Well, you had a guy who was 2 for 2 with a walk at the plate. Needs a cleanup hitter. I like his chances.
Yeah, you made a good call.
Tyler Duran will bat, and an obvious bunt situation. He's been hit by a pitch. He's had a sacrifice bunt previously, and he struck out. His sac bunt came in the 3rd. Hit by pitch in the 1st, plated a run. And now he has a chance to advance runners at the very least, if not add to the lead.
Catcher.
And Malcolm Dienes has to be looking for the bunt here. Have to be.
They are.
Here's Duran. Lamont second, Elliott first. Squares. Pops it up. Oh, a great effort by Giglio. Maybe a foot away. 0-1.
He didn't recognize it right away. If he had seen it right away, I think he caught it.
That ball was in the air for a little bit, too, now.
The odd thing about that play was the second baseman ran over to keep the runner close and still covered first.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's a track meet.
See how he's pinching the middle right now? Because they're pulled over at third. Mm-hmm. The shortstop's pulled way over. I don't know if they have a plan on him covering third and the third baseman charging. It is what they're doing.
Slug bunt here, and he fouls it out of play, 0-2. So,
yeah, the third baseman was going to crash on that because that's where you're supposed to bunt it, to the third baseman. And the shortstop was going to cover the bag.
Slash play. Nothing doing. Now the infield probably backs up a step, although they're still in at first and third with 2 strikes on an 0-2 count.
The shortstop's back in normal position though now.
You try to turn 2 up the middle right here.
Swinging and lining it down the right field side, foul. So Duran made a bid, but sliced it foul. Shortened up a bit there, which is a good thing to see.
With 2 strikes, trying to put it in play to the right side, move the runners over. Much harder turn 4-6-3 than 6-4-3 is.
The right idea. On 0-2. Gonna bunt. He took it high. Surprised. 1-2. Got a breaking ball on 0-2.
Hey, there's a lot of good managing going on right now, baby.
It's
there's a lot of wheels.
Wheels are spinning on both sides.
This is good stuff.
1-2, gonna bunt. It's up and in again. So twice in a row, squared the bunt, and he got pitches way up in the zone. One a breaking ball, that one a fastball.
Well, this is the great thing about sitting up here and watching. You see all these things happen, and you're like, what would you do here? What pitch would you throw? What would you do? Would you bunt? Would you not bunt? Would you start your runners? Would you, how would you play this situation from either side?
That's why.
And the beauty of it is, you're not the one having to decide.
Yeah.
Gonna bunt, and now he's 3-2. So from 0-2 to 3-2, he's trying to give you an out, and Bertucci unable to throw a strike. Now do they start the runners 3-2? How much do you trust the hitter to take a ball or to get a bunt down?
I'm not starting.
I have no reason. I see no reason not to start him.
Right.
You're 3 outs away from a win.
Right.
You're not giving up anything. Start him. Not going. Foul back.
First and second, nobody out. I don't like the risk of a triple play right there. If you happen to hit a ball on a line, it's inning over. Right.
How much confidence do you have in your pitcher? You got a 2-run lead. You got a chance to blow this thing open.
I can do that from here too without running them.
Again, do you
That's
trust
the fun part. But
do you trust your hitter?
Saturday I'll be
to lay off a pitch,
making those calls from down there.
Right.
To lay off of a pitch here if it's out of the zone. Fouled off 1 on 3-2. 8th pitch of the at bat. That's not even close, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. And Case for Kids is in prime position to put this one away. Here's Luke Gabb, who has struck out twice, line to left. Frank Cazzo
pitching change.
He's going to see enough and make a change, and somebody in the field is going to come on to pitch.
Right fielder. Looks
like the right fielder, Bryce Hingle, is going to come on to pitch. Bertucci went 2+ innings and kind of hit the wall here in the 7th inning.
I tell you what, he shows bunt 3 times with 2 strikes and gets balls on all 3. Except for the slash.
Trying to give you an out, and they couldn't throw the ball over the plate in that situation.
Except for the slash, the one time he slashed when he fouled it off.
So it's going to be Bryce Hingle who's going to get the ball here. Hingle going into his junior season.
Well, I'll tell you what, he may be going into his junior season, but as far as continuing this summer, this is it, baby. He's got to come in and get a comebacker or a pop-up or a strikeout here.
Hingle has made 2 appearances in the summer, only 2 innings pitched. No earned run average, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So he has not done this very much.
But you can bet he pitched on the other team, on the younger team, He's pitched a lot this summer. I'm not. Because one of the beauties of this league is that
we have our JV league.
Is the JV doubleheaders, yeah.
More at-bats, more innings,
now pitching,
more opportunities.
Number 17, Bryce Hingle. Coming into right
Luke
field,
Gabb
number 12,
has the opportunity here. Cade Young takes over in right field. Young in right field. It's going into his junior season.
The batter is first baseman Luke Gabb.
Here's Gabb. Big spot for Gav to really kind of put the nail in this one for Case for Kids. Bases loaded, nobody out, infield in. Smash, and he'll do just that. 1 run will score. Second runner's coming to the plate. He's going to score. It's 6-2 Case for Kids. Gav on the first pitch laces a 2-run single to right.
He didn't wait too long, that's for sure. Takes the first fastball he sees and drives it over the drawn-in infield. And the way he hit it, if they'd have been back, he might have hit it right at that second baseman. But, you can't be back there because 1 run's huge.
Well, that's the ball game here. First inning, 2 walks and a hit batter, 2-run score. 7th inning, 2 walks and an error, 2 runs have scored already, and that's your ball game right there. Here's Drake Amity. One team has made the bigger mistakes, and they've paid a hefty price. Amity can really put this game away. He has singled and walked. He's driven on a run, 1 for 2 in the game. First and third, still nobody out.
They're going to steal somewhere in this at bat.
Got to believe they're going to run.
Now we're looking at a safety squeeze.
And bounced the pitch. What a stop by Giglio. That pitch was way outside and low.
And the irony is he doesn't move up on the pitch, and he probably could have from first to second. But by staying there, he keeps the safety squeeze in order because that first baseman has to stay holding him.
Right. Can't cheat in.
Had he gone to second, he'd have been up on grass, and they probably would have to swing.
That's not close either. So 2-0.
But I'll tell you what, an well-executed safety squeeze is one of the prettiest plays. Right there, there's nothing you can do defensively.
7 walks, 2 hit batters, 3 errors from Malcolm Dienes. That spells curtains. And now 3-0, threatening to walk yet another. Three and 1.
You talked about all the mistakes and the walks, but you can't simulate this. You have to play these games like this, and this is what makes the summer fun, especially this late in the year.
And the bases are loaded again.
But the Rummel pitchers will get better because of this experience, as they go forward into next year. Knowing that you can't walk 8. You can't hit 2.
Number 5.
We're going to get a
Hayden Nunez.
consider Hayden Nunez is going to hit. Nunez will get the opportunity. And it's 0-1.
Takes a fastball. Didn't like that one.
1-1.
Gets a high breaking ball, so right now as a hitter, he's got a fastball coming. Does it get it in the zone? If he does he unload on it?
And another run will score. Second runner for the plate. Throw to the plate is not in time. Runner for third. And that's in the left field. That's going to plate another run. And the other runner will go to second. And this game is broken wide open. 3 runs cross the plate. It's a 2-run single and then a throwing error on Giglio.
And right there, just a situation with the drawn-in infield. Just good contact is all you got to make. Hits it up the middle. Throw to the plate is not in time. They have a good shot at the guy that's going to the second runner from first going to third. And, of course, he airmails that into left field. And as a coach, you feel like this is a nightmare.
Nunez delivers the kill shot here to make it a 9-2 ball game. 5 runs home and counting, and still nobody out in the inning. And another pitching change coming. The first 3 runs charged to Bertucci. 2 of them earned. The rest to Hingle. 2 counting at this point, and we'll get our 5th pitcher of the game from Malcolm Dienes. And that will be Bryce Stubrich. If it sounds familiar, it should. He's the younger brother of a certain pitcher that just had a phenomenal career at Southeastern after being at Brother Martin. Bryce Stuprich, younger brother at Archbishop Rummel. And Stuprich takes over. Limited appearance. Only one in the summer. 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks and a strikeout. For Stuprich.
And here he is in the semis.
Yeah. He is indeed.
Needing to throw some strikes, get some ground balls, maybe a pop-up. But it's an experience he probably wouldn't have got or wouldn't expect it to get, but everything, you're building on everything, you know.
Yeah, Brennan was not only an All-American, but was the Student Athlete of the Year in the Southland Conference.
Nothing wrong with that, huh?
No,
it was terrific.
Good combination, no question about it.
Terrific.
Look at his career numbers, 25 wins in a Southeastern uniform.
Dominic Joden's going to bat. He's grounded out, and he's reached on an error. Strike called, 0-1. Stuprich comes in and throws a strike. Stuprich going into his junior season. And he showed a breaking ball. Did he offer or not?
Pitcher is number 16.
Did not. 1-1.
Bruce Stuprich.
It's Bryce Stuprich, not Bruce, but Bryce. Swinging a foul back, and it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes.
Can't believe you're not going to disclose your parking spot, man.
That was actually in the vicinity. Breaking ball missed away, 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes, and a breaking ball swung on and just got a piece of it. Foul tipped at the plate to stay alive.
I try to park between the 2 biggest trucks I can find.
There you go. That's a good strategy. And don't let the windshield face the field.
Right.
Never do that. Oh, I don't need to tell you that. Okay. 2-2 the count. And he got him so that's a strikeout for finally the first out of the inning. And the hitter's still at the plate. I'm not sure why.
They're arguing the count.
That's strike 3. I mean, I'm keeping it. That was the 3rd strike. He's out. Promise you that was strike 3. And Jeff Lubo's asking, was it the swing or was it a take? That's what he's asking. Started the bat, whether it was a swing or not, can't tell you.
Camber Keller.
Camber Keller bats. He's walked and scored, been hit by a pitch, reached on an error, struck out. 0 for 2 officially with a run scored. That is a breaking ball strike. So it's a slow curveball that Stuprich throws.
As long as he throws the first strike, it's a good pitch.
No, I mean, again, you got the harder variety. And he comes back with a fastball and beats him with it. Pops him up right side. Right fielder's ball. Right fielder will make the catch. Young did the job, called him off. That's textbook there. Everybody goes after it hard. Second baseman, first baseman, and wait for that outfielder to get there and call you off. That's exactly what happened. You teach everybody, go get the ball.
Yeah, that first baseman was trying to call them off, though. Good thing they ran him off.
Brady McCluskey.
Brady McCluskey has 2 walks in the game and a run scored. He's 0 for 2. Well, what do you expect? That's a formo at first base. I mean, he wants the ball, man. That's a strike. It's 0-1.
He's made a couple nice plays down there today.
Yeah, he has. His mom, his dad and his aunt both here today. Watching. 0-1 the count. 1-1. And the aunt has ties to both schools. But you get that a lot.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. You get that a lot.
You know a little bit about that. So
I know nothing about what you're talking about.
I didn't think you did. 1-1 the count. swing and a miss, 1-2. That's the New Orleans area. That's a large part of it. And Stuprich is a perfect example of it. 1-2 the count. McCluskey back in.
Must make for Christmas a lot harder, though.
1-2. Just second. Good job to position himself. Hurd. Bad throw, but a good dig by Formo. And the inning is over. But 9 men come to the plate, and they break the game wide open. 5 runs scoring in the inning. It happens on just 2 hits. There was, of course, the big errors, 2 of those. And a runner left on base. And in the game, 8 left for K's for Kids. Last chance coming up for Malcolm Dienes. K's for Kids in command, 9-2 here. Trying to defend their championship. We've had no repeat winner yet in this league, only 4th year in. K's for Kids will have an opportunity to be that team. And I do want to explain, because I know some people have questioned it. K's for Kids played 9 games on the field this year. Really 8.5. We gave them credit for a 9th win when they only played 4.5 innings. We had a league rule about 10 games being the number you had to play. We made a league decision from Crescent City Sports and then consulted with the respective playoff coaches to give K's for Kids a 10th game, which had to be a loss, to give them 10 games played to qualify them for the playoffs, because we felt like they belonged in the playoffs. They had not lost a game on the field.
Yeah, for the purpose of bracketing, that's all it was. Their record is still 9-0, but for the purpose of bracketing, they were assigned a loss in a 10th game.
Correct.
To get to the minimum of 10 games.
Which officially makes them 9-1, but it doesn't matter. They just wanted to play and appreciated the opportunity, because we did have a rule, but we thought that because of the weather and how unusual it was this year with all the rain. Strike called at 0-1 to Jack Hurd. That with all the rain, that it was very difficult to get the games in. They tried very hard.
Yeah, we had 150 games scheduled in the league this year, 10 games a day for 15 days, and had 47 rainouts. So basically, over 30% of the games got rained out. And in some, like, there were makeups played, probably on the day of, there were more than that.
Ball and a strike now on Hurd. And now a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and you alluded to one of the makeups Thursday when Malcolm Dienes played Cypress Physical Therapy from Lutcher.
Yep. Both sides have to agree to make it up. Valley delivers, and that's a fly ball to left. Should be handled. There to make the catch. Morgan for out number 1.
And the irony of this is, with all the rainouts you had, we have more teams with turf fields than we've ever had in the past.
Yeah.
And it helps.
It helps.
Look, and you go look at the standings, and
Number
you see
7,
you can see the ones that have that available to them.
Yeah, they play with more of their games.
Ian Smith bats. Has a hit, a walk, a stolen base. He's flat out to right and takes a ball. It's 1-0. Valley would qualify for a save. This is his 3rd inning for Tingstrom, who would be the winner. 2-0. Tingstrom on his way to victory here. Valley seemingly on his way to a save. Outside 3-0. Ramon would have his first loss of the summer league. 3 balls, no strikes on Smith, who will take a pitch here. And it's ball 4, so he's on for the 3rd time. I don't know, sometimes the best hitters, sometimes they get the most pitches out of the zone thrown to them, whether by intent or not. Just kind of works that way.
No, it's not intent, but it's
Number 8,
you're trying to be perfect.
Joe Stewart.
Because any mistake you make is going to go 400 feet.
Stewart bats. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And it's 0-1. And call that a strike. Inside corner of the knees. Look. And it's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Toward first, easy chance here. Take the out, and he does. Smart move by Gab. He thought about it, but just needed an out here. Yeah. Oh, 2 gone. Yeah, we need to get down there right now. So turn it on, get down. You know how to do it. There we go. Go for it. We'll get Lenny down to the field as fast as possible here. He'll be running fast here, showing his speed from the left side.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Brody Giglio.
Giglio will bat.
I want to see that run.
Giglio has doubled and walked. He's also grounded out. He had the 2-run double back in the 3rd, the only runs of the game for Malcolm Dienes, down to their last out here. Missing away, ball 1.
You know, it's a tough situation when you're down 7 as a coach. You know, you're giving takes, but you don't really expect a guy to walk enough to get you back in the game. But you need base runners.
Strike call, 1-1. You keep playing the game.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's hard, though, because you want to turn them loose. It's their last at-bat of the summer.
It is. But, again, we talk about development. That doesn't mean that just everybody goes up there and swings. It means how do you play a game to try to win a baseball game? That's what development is. Do the things that you're going to do to try to win games all the time. That's the goal. Strike called, and Case for Kids is a strike away from another championship game. This one well over the 3-hour mark because of the 56-minute delay we had. Time called. I mean, they're taking a lot of time for a 9-2 game with 2 strikes in the 7th, right? Might want to just get the pitch and go with it.
Against the TV time, baby.
If you say so. 1-2. Struck him out swinging, and Case for Kids has won it by the score of 9-2 to advance to the championship game of the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League. What a job by Case for Kids to get the job done here this afternoon. Had to endure the rain delay. Had to endure
Case for Kids.
Conditions that weren't ideal, but here they are. But they got the job done, Marty, and they just carry on from what they did during the prep season where they went to the state championship series.
And they just know how to win.
That game is to be played tomorrow night.
They play it well.
First pitch scheduled.
They know what to do. They've had success. They're learning from their successes, and they just keep it going.
Congratulations also.
What a job by Caden Valley to come on and shut it down. 3 innings of shutout baseball and 1 hit allowed. All right, with that, let's go down to the field. Check in with Lenny Van Gelder with Jeff Lubo. Lenny?
Jeff, 4th inning, you get a rain delay to deal with, but when you've had, 5 games rained out and 1 shortened this year, you knew exactly how to deal with that, and your guys handled it without a problem.
Yeah, it seems like we've been in this situation before. Even though we lost a lot of guys, we still have a veteran club. In relief of Blaze, and he was really.
I can hear him.
7th inning to give us some breathing room, so I'm really pleased.
Got tested a couple of times, but you were playing from in front the entire time. How important was that 1st inning to be able to play with the lead the entire game?
I mean, it's always important to get ahead, and that's the way we like to. And then we got the.
Well, you can tell we're having a little trouble with Lenny's mic.
Did a really good job.
Set up obviously for tomorrow. You use 2 guys tonight. Obviously, you're in pretty good shape in terms of how you'll play tomorrow night.
Yeah. So, like I've said all about what we do. It's about what if they come ready to play, we'll have a good chance. We're going to have to play a good team tomorrow, so it's more about what we do.
Congratulations. See you tomorrow night.
Appreciate it. Thank you all for going in.
Ken, back upstairs.
Okay, thanks, Lenny. All right, so sorry about cutting out a little bit there, but you got the gist of it. Look, this is a good team. They know how to win. They just came off of a state championship appearance in prep, and they've carried over into the summer. They have not lost a game on the field, Marty, and you saw why.
Yeah.
And they got the package. This is a really good ball club.
Man, they're well coached. They play hard. There's a lot of really good things about Brother Martin baseball right now, and they have some really good players, and they're reloading, and you can see that that tradition never graduates, and that they expect to win, and they're able to execute that today. They put a lot of pressure on Dienes, and they were able to make some things happen, especially in that 7th inning when they put up that big 5 spot to break the game wide open.
Yeah, they really left no doubt. I mean, the game was competitive until that 7th inning, and basically, look, I mean, the biggest thing here is you get the starter out in the 1st inning.
Right.
And that's that. I mean, I don't care how well guys come in behind him. You've messed up their whole day. That is not at all the plan whatsoever. And they end up using 5 pitches, and they catch up with you eventually.
Yes. And you're playing from behind the entire day, and that's a lot of pressure. You're trying to cut the lead. You're always looking at the scoreboard. When you're ahead, you don't ever look at the scoreboard. You just go out there and try to add more to it. And so it was a tough day. It was but I'll be honest with you. In the 6th inning, when the coaches were matching wits and things were going, that was fun stuff. It was a shame they put up that. It's not a shame, but once they put up that big 5, then everything kind of settled in, and we knew who our finalist was going to be.
Yeah, look, no doubt. I mean, this was a game that was interesting for, like you said, 6 innings. I mean, you had a 4-2 ball game, could have gone either way. Dienes had some opportunities, but simply weren't able to get over the hump when those opportunities existed. And case for kids, as we mentioned before, you want to beat a team like this, you cannot make mistakes. And when you commit 4 errors and you walk 8 guys and hit 2 batters, you're just not going to survive that.
The errors, sometimes you can survive those, but you'll never survive 10 free base runners. And against a team that can hit the ball, and Brother Martin was able to, or Case for Kids was able to put that away. And once they got it going, there was no stopping it.
No doubt. I mean, they put themselves in a great spot and took control of the game, win it 9-2, and they're into the championship game for the 2nd consecutive year, trying to become the first team to defend a state championship in the 4 history of the Crescent City Sports Summer League. We got Retief Oil getting ready, along with John Curtis and River Ridge Patriots, getting set to get things going here. All right, Christy, I got you. Great job, you hear? He did it. I took care of you there, so it's all good. So we're going to start this 2nd game at 8 p.m. That is going to be the start time, 8 p.m., 30 minutes from now. So Lenny Van Gilder's rejoined us now, and as we get set to close, Lenny, just a final thought or two from you about what we saw here in game
well,
one.
Like I talked about downstairs with Jeff Lupo, I mean, the ability of Case for Kids to jump out, play from in front, allow them to play their game, which is, put pressure on opponents. That was a key, and obviously, like you said, they had chances to maybe get some more before they did, but then their guys stepped up in the 7th inning and put it away then.
Well, again, it was a solid performance, a winning performance by Case for Kids, and again, you give the win to Blaze Tingstrom, the save to Caden Valley, the loss to Brennan Ramon, and overall 3 hours and 24 minutes to complete with a 52-minute rain delay included. Game 2 coming up. 8 o'clock, we'll be back on with you at about 7:50 or so with the broadcast of the 2nd semifinal game between Jesuit-based Retief Oil, John Curtis Christian-based the River Ridge Patriots. For Lenny Van Gilder and for Marty Luquette, thanks for joining us for Game 1 and be a good sport, and God bless you one and all. Rounding third and heading home for about 15 minutes. So long.